The miserable Lu Ming in the past, Xueqi's power was comparable to a genius who could control divine power. But now, he was one step stronger. He was probably comparable to a genius who could control divine-grade divine power. How is it? Isn't he amazing? Xueqi's proud voice rang out. Interesting again. Lu Ming revealed a strong desire to fight. He kept triggering the battle formula, wanting to trigger a fourfold combat power. Come on. I'll tell you. My strength is not limited to this. Xueqi waved its two arms, as proud as it could be. Boom. After dozens of times of triggering, Lu Ming finally triggered the quadruple combat strength. 3 apocalyptic strikes, moon cutting. This time, Lu Ming really exerted his full strength and used the moon slash. Given Lu Ming's current abilities, he could probably suppress Long Xian if he used this move at full force. Its power was shocking. Buzz! A crescent-shaped spear ray slashed at Xueqi. Incoming! Xueqi cried out and retracted its arm. Its round body turned rapidly and smashed toward Lu Ming. Clang! It was another terrifying collision. The crescent-shaped spear light collided with Xueqi's body. At the moment of collision, the crescent-shaped spear's gleam shook violently and shattered. Then, Xueqi's body hit Lu Ming's long spear. Lu Ming's long spear shook violently. He felt a terrifying force surging towards him. He felt as if he had been hit by a planet. Lu Ming's body flew out once again and hit the wall of the courtyard. This time, Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt as if all the bones in his body were about to break. Lu Ming, are you all right? Xueqi asked with concern. I'm fine. It's just a small injury. What's the big deal? Lu Ming braced himself. How could he lose face in front of Xueqi? Xueqi, is this all your strength? It's really powerful. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Xueqi's power was probably close to the heavenly God level. It was really shocking. He was no match for it even if he went all out. Of course not. I still have another power that I haven't used. Xueqi said complacently. After it finished speaking, sizzling sounds came from the surface of its body, and wisps of lightning appeared. It's this kind of lightning. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. This lightning was exactly the same as the lightning on the bronze door back then, but it was much thinner. Lu Ming, do you want to try the power of my lightning? Xueqi blinked its big eyes and said. There was a hint of ill intention in its eyes. I'll try it, come on. Lu Ming was very confident in his defense. With a thought, 9 ice chains flew out and wrapped around him. Then, 9 layers of scarlet gold armor appeared on his body. He was fully armed. Are you sure you're ready? Xueqi asked in a low voice. Of course. Cut the crap. Come on, you can't hurt me. Even so, Anhai and the others had probably suffered quite a bit. Fortunately, Anhai and the others' injuries weren't fatal. With their divine bodies, they could recover very quickly. A few hours later, Lu Chong and Zhao Feng's bones had all been set back and their auras had stabilized. Anhai's exploded body was also healing rapidly, and new flesh and blood grew. Who did this? Lu Ming said coldly. Anhai, Lu Chong, and Zhao Feng's expressions froze, and they looked at each other. Boss, we're fine. Let's just forget about this matter. Anhai said. Let's just forget it? How can I just let this matter go? In the future, will anyone in the Kongxian sect still take me seriously? Lu Ming said coldly. He knew that Anhai and the rest were doing this for his sake. However, Lu Ming would not let it go. Who did this? Lu Ming asked again. Boss, it's still. Anhai wanted to persuade Lu Ming to stop. I'm asking you to say it in the name of the saint. Who did it? Lu Ming's tone was more serious and his voice was cold. Anhai's words came to an abrupt end. Finally, Anhai sighed and said, It was Lu Feiyun. Lu Feiyun. Lu Ming was stunned. He had never heard of this name. Killing their way to the door, Lu Feiyun is from the Tianhong Saint Sun's faction. Lu Chong said. It's indeed the Tianhong Saint Sun's faction. Lu Ming's eyes glinted coldly, his killing intent as sharp as a knife. He had already guessed that the people who had attacked were either from the Tianhong Saint Sun's faction, the Sacred Sun Floating Lights faction, or the Jixia Saint and the Xuetan Saintess. It must be one of them. Courting death. Lu Ming said coldly. Boss, don't be rash. Lu Feiyu is a first-tier heavenly god and is the Tianhong Saint Sun's right-hand man. He's extremely powerful and far from being comparable to Long Xian. And Hai quickly said, first-level heavenly deity? So what? Tell me his address. Lu Ming said in a commanding tone. The Tianhong Saint Sun's faction had many heavenly gods, but none of them could control divine power. Only the Supreme Holy Sun could have such a person who could become a Holy Sun by himself and had divine power. It was just a first-level heavenly god who controlled king-grade divine power. Lu Ming might be able to fight with Xueqi's help. He had to get back at them for this. Otherwise, he would become the laughingstock of the Kongxian sect, and no one would dare to join his faction. And Hai, Lu Chong, and the rest did not dare to disobey Lu Ming. They obediently told him Lu Fian's address. You guys rest well. I'll get back at you for this. With that, Lu Ming turned and left. Lu Ming. Wait a minute. Don't be rash. I'm afraid this is the other party's scheme. They deliberately injured Hai and the others to provoke you to attack. Once you attack, they will have a legitimate reason to attack you. Yu Linglong quickly said. It's fine. Lu Ming waved his hand and flew out. He could naturally guess the other party's goal, but the other party had underestimated his strength. Oh no, I have to inform my cousin. Zifeng, come with me. Yu Linglong said. Then, she and Wu Zifeng hurriedly flew toward Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence. In a luxurious garden in the inner court, a group of people were drinking and chatting. The leader of the group was Lu Feiyun. Ha ha ha, this time, I've tortured Lu Ming's subordinates. It's so satisfying. Indeed, those idiots were really audacious. The saint said that whoever joined Lu Ming's sect would be going against him. Those guys didn't give the saint any face and joined Lu Ming's sect in public. They're just a few dogs who don't know what's good for them. Seeing that Lu Ming has some talent, they want to suck up to him. However, they don't know that Lu Ming can't fight against the saint. He can't even protect himself. Some of the young men laughed as they drank. I wonder how Lu Ming will handle this time? Someone said. He only has two paths to take. The first is to swallow his anger. However, if he does so, his reputation will be completely tarnished. His subordinates have been abused so badly, but he still has to swallow his anger. In the future, no one will join Lu Ming's faction. He will no longer be able to compete with the saint. Second, if he comes to me for revenge, I'll beat him up and break all his bones. I'll make him kneel in front of me like a dog. Lu Feiyun sneered. This was their scheme. No matter what Lu Ming did, he would fall into their trap. What a brilliant plan. The saint's plan is truly brilliant. That Lu Ming wants to fight with the saint. He's simply courting death. The other young men began to flatter him. Lu Feiyun, get out here. At this moment, a loud roar came from outside. The entire courtyard seemed to shake. Lu Feiyun and the others were stunned. This is Lu Ming's voice? Some people were bewildered. That's right. It's Lu Ming's voice. I didn't expect that this kid would really dare to come. Good. Lu Feiyun's eyes were cold and excited. He stood up and walked out. The other young men followed. When he walked out of the courtyard, he saw Lu Ming standing alone in the void. His entire body was emitting a cold light. You're Lu Feiyun? Lu Ming's gaze fell on Lu Feiyun. Among all the people present, only Lu Feiyun gave him an unfathomable feeling. That's right. I'm Lu Feiyun. Lu Ming, why are you here? Do you want to lower your head and admit your mistakes to our saint? Ha ha ha. Lu Feiyun laughed and the other young men followed suit. Today, I will break your bones and make you kowtow to my subordinates in apology. Lu Ming said coldly. Lu Feiyun and the rest stopped laughing. They looked at Lu Ming as if he was an idiot. Break Lu Feiyun's bones and make him kowtow and apologize to his men? Where did Lu Ming get his confidence from? Oh really? Then why don't you try? Lu Feiyun's eyes shone with excitement. He was waiting for Lu Ming to make a move. Boom! A powerful aura burst out from Lu Ming's body. A powerful pressure filled the air above this area. They're about to make their move. At this moment, many figures appeared in the area, watching from afar. This area was originally where the inner sect disciples gathered. Lu Ming's loud roar earlier had already alerted the inner sect disciples in the nearby area. Lu Ming actually went to Lu Feiyun and said that he would break his bones. Is he crazy? He's indeed crazy. Lu Feiyun is a first-tier celestial deity and a capable general under the Tianhong Saint's son. Lu Ming is too arrogant. Who cares? There's going to be a good show. It'll be fun if one of the saints gets abused. The surrounding people were discussing animatedly. Many people were waiting to watch a good show. Boom! Lu Ming did not waste any more time. He immediately attacked with all his might. During the conversation just now, Lu Ming had already started to activate the battle formula. His divine power swept out like a wave, blocking Lu Ming and Xueqi's subsequent attacks. Lu Feiyun is actually injured. The surrounding spectators were all stunned. He was furious. Lu Feiyun himself was furious. His entire body was filled with a terrifying killing intent. His eyes were extremely ferocious as he glared at Lu Ming. He, a dignified celestial God level powerhouse, was actually injured by Lu Ming, a third-stage true God. This was simply an insult to him. He could not wait to tear Lu Ming into 1,000 pieces. Good, very good. Lu Ming, I'll make you beg for death today. Lu Feiyun said ferociously. His aura became even more terrifying. A pair of divine gloves appeared on his hands. Buzz! Lu Feiyun turned into a bolt of lightning and charged at Lu Ming. He struck out with both hands and several huge palm prints came at Lu Ming. They were much stronger than before. This was Lu Feiyun's true combat power. He was absolutely powerful. One must know that the divine power he controlled was king-grade divine power. It was even stronger than those first-level heavenly gods who controlled ordinary divine power. Lu Ming did not dare to be careless. He activated the 9-layer crimson gold armor and controlled the 9 ice chains. Then, he cast the 3 apocalyptic strikes and charged toward Lu Feiyun. At the same time, Xueqi spun rapidly and attacked Lu Feiyun together with Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not ask Xueqi to cast that kind of lightning. It was not the time yet. That kind of lightning would only be effective at the critical moment. Boom! Boom! The two sides collided once again, and a terrifying boom erupted. Lu Ming let out a long howl, his long hair flying in the wind. He exerted all his strength to the extreme. At the same time, Xueqi also exploded to its limit. But even so, Lu Ming and Xueqi were still at a disadvantage despite joining forces. The two of them were suppressed and kept retreating. The divine power of a celestial God was extremely strong. Every move was filled with explosive power, and Lu Ming was almost suffocating from the pressure. If Xueqi had not withstood most of the pressure, Lu Ming would have been defeated. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had exchanged dozens of rounds. Kacha! Cracks appeared on Lu Ming's 9-layer crimson gold armor. It could not hold on any longer. The ice chains also made cracking sounds. Condense! Lu Ming shouted. Divine power gushed out from the measure formula. Lu Ming remained at his peak. The scarlet gold armor on his body glowed brightly again and the 9 ice chains became solid. What's wrong with this kid? Lu Feiyun was shocked. Logically speaking, Lu Ming was only at the 3rd-tier true God realm. In such a high-intensity battle, his divine power should have been exhausted long ago. However, since the start of the battle, Lu Ming had been maintaining several divine skills at the same time and was still as lively as a dragon and a tiger. He was simply a monster. Burning blood grand magic. Seeing that the battle was going on for a long time, Lu Feiyun became anxious and used his secret skill. His body was covered in a layer of fiery red blood light, as if his blood was burning. At the same time, his combat strength had also increased by several times. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming and Xueqi were sent flying at the same time and they retreated rapidly. Lu Ming, in particular, spat out a mouthful of blood. Kill! Lu Feiyun roared and charged at Lu Ming. His palm turned into a claw and clawed at Lu Ming, as if he was going to break all the bones in Lu Ming's body. Come on! There was a crazed look in Lu Ming's eyes. He circulated several divine skills and secret skills with all his might and was highly focused. The scarlet gold armor on Lu Ming's body suddenly became more solid and the light became more dazzling. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He had broken through the 9-layer crimson gold armor and reached the 5th layer. His defense had increased greatly. This kid, Lu Feiyun, was shocked beyond words. He had naturally noticed Lu Ming's breakthrough. So what if I've broken through? You want to block my attack? Dream on. Lu Yunfei increased his speed and attacked Lu Ming. And NBSP whoosh. 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 Lu Ming controlled the 9 ice chains and wrapped them around Lu Feiyun. The ice chain was extremely powerful against true immortal realm experts, but it was not enough to deal with Lu Feiyun, who was a heavenly God. Under Lu Feiyun's attacks, the ice chains kept breaking. Moon-slaying, die! Lu Ming bellowed as he swung his long spear down. A crescent-shaped spear ray slashed toward Lu Feiyun. Suppress! Lu Feiyun was not afraid at all. He clawed at the spear ray, bringing with him a terrifying wave of energy. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The saint takes action at the same time that Lu Feiyun attacked Lu Ming. Xueqi also launched an attack on Lu Feiyun. However, Lu Feiyun did not pay attention to Xueqi. He already knew Xueqi's strength. He activated a defensive divine skill that was enough to block Xueqi's attack. He had to suppress Lu Ming first before dealing with Xueqi. Boom! Lu Feiyun's claw grabbed onto Lu Ming's spear radiance and shattered it. A terrifying force was directed at Lu Ming. Boom! At the same time, Xueqi also smashed into Lu Yunfei's body, but it was blocked by his defensive divine skill. Now is the time. Ball, lightning. Lu Ming shouted with his mental strength. Zzzzzzzzz. Xueqi's entire body emitted a series of electric lights, which converged into a lightning bolt as thick as an arm, and blasted toward Lu Feiyun. Boom! The bolt of lightning pierced through Lu Feiyun's defense and struck his body. Ah! Lu Yunfei shrieked in pain as his body trembled violently. He retracted half of the force that he was about to use to attack Lu Ming. His claws grabbed onto Lu Ming's scarlet gold armor and sent him flying. Even so, Lu Ming was still severely injured and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, Lu Feiyun was worse off than him. He didn't have much defense against Xueqi. After the previous battle, he already had a clear understanding of Xueqi's strength. He never thought that Xueqi would have such a terrifying lightning. Therefore, Xueqi's bolt of lightning struck him directly, causing his body to hurt as if it was being torn apart. His body was also numb, and for a moment, it was difficult for him to move. Xueqi, continue! Lu Ming roared. A heavenly God's strength was too shocking. Even if he was hit directly, Lu Yunfei would not be seriously injured. Now was the best time to completely suppress Lu Feiyun. Zzzzzzzzz. Bright lightning appeared on Xueqi's body again. How audacious! Stop! The young men with Lu Yunfei roared and pounced on Xueqi, trying to stop it. Get lost! Lu Ming could not care less about his injuries. He cast the 9 heavenly Kuanpeng technique and charged at the few people, sweeping his long spear horizontally. Bang! 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 Those few young men were only at true God level and could not withstand Lu Ming's current strength. They were swept away by the spear's gleam and fell to the ground, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. One move and he was seriously injured. At this moment, Xueqi's second bolt of lightning had already shot out and struck Lu Feiyun's head. Lu Feiyun screamed in pain. His body turned black and smoke rose from his body. His body was split open. The moment blood flowed out, he was burned by the lightning and turned into smoke. Bind! Lu Ming seized the opportunity and rushed over. The 9 ice chains appeared again and wrapped around Lu Feiyun. The terrifying chill instantly froze Lu Feiyun. Bang! The ice chain lifted Lu Yunfei up and threw him heavily. Lu Yunfei fell to the ground and created a big pit. Cracking sounds came from Lu Yunfei's body. Many of his bones were broken. Lu Feiyun was severely injured and had no strength to fight back. The surrounding spectators were all dumbfounded. They didn't expect such an outcome. If Lu Ming, who was at true God level, went to Lu Yunfei's house to fight him, the final result would be Lu Yunfei being defeated and severely injured. I told you to kneel down and apologize to my subordinates. Now, kneel down to me first. Lu Ming said coldly. He controlled the ice chain and Lu Feiyun, wanting him to kneel down. Lu Ming, you dare? Ah! Lu Feiyun howled and struggled madly. However, he was already severely injured. All his bones were broken and he was bound by the ice chains. He could not break free at all. Plop! He was forced to kneel in front of Lu Ming. "Lu Ming, I'll kill you!" Lu Yunfei shouted hysterically. His eyes were red and his killing intent was extremely cold. "What are you shouting for? You should have thought of this when you injured my men. Now, go and kowtow to my men and admit your mistake." Lu Ming was about to bring Lu Yunfei back to Enhai's residence so that he could kowtow and apologize to Enhai and the rest. The other side. Lu Ming was really strong and overbearing. "How dare you? Let him go!" At this moment, a loud shout came from the distance. At the same time, an extremely terrifying aura blotted out the sky and filled the air. The Tianhong Saint's son. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Lu Ming knew that the Tianhong Saint's son had arrived the moment he heard the voice. Lu Ming moved and landed beside Lu Feiyun. The next moment, a young man appeared in the sky and looked down at Lu Ming. Who else could it be but the Tianhong Saint's son? The Tianhong Saint's son's eyes fell on Lu Feiyun. Cold killing intent burst out of his eyes when he saw Lu Feiyun's miserable state. "Lu Ming, did you know that Lu Feiyun is one of my men?" The Tianhong Saint's son's voice was cold. "So what if I know? So what if I don't know?" Lu Ming sneered. "I'll make you pay 10 times the price for hitting my people." The Tianhong Saint's son said. "I'm afraid he'll be crippled before I pay the price." Lu Ming pointed at Lu Feiyun. "You think you can use him to threaten me? You're so naive." The Tianhong Saint's son sneered. He had just finished speaking when he disappeared. Not good. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He focused his mind, trying to capture the Tianhong Saint's son's figure. However, at this moment, a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming's body, making him feel as if he had fallen into a swamp. "Break!" Lu Ming let out a long howl and burst out with all his strength. He exerted his strength to the extreme. A spear's gleam soared into the sky and broke through the surrounding pressure. However, just as Lu Ming's body regained some freedom, his 9 ice chains shook violently and suddenly shattered into pieces. Lu Feiyun was swept away by a force. Then, not far in front of Lu Ming, the Tianhong Saint's son appeared with Lu Feiyun in his hand. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's heart sank. The Tianhong Saint's son's strength was beyond his expectations. He had not even been able to react when the Tianhong Saint's son had suddenly attacked and saved Lu Feiyun from his hands. Unfathomable! Lu Ming could sense that the Tianhong Saint's son's cultivation was at least at the 3rd level of the celestial deity realm. Moreover, the divine energy he controlled was definitely of the divine grade. Lu Yunfei could not compare to him. "You want to fight me with your puny strength? I'll cripple you today." The Tianhong Saint's son was very powerful. Golden divine power danced around his body, forming a terrifying wave that pressed toward Lu Ming. Bang! 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 Lu Ming retreated continuously. He could not withstand the pressure and took more than 10 steps back. It was the same for Xueqi. It was pushed back by the pressure and landed on Lu Ming's shoulder. Its eyes were filled with solemnity. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. The battle between the Holy Sons and Holy Virgins. Kid, you're playing with fire this time. Bone Demon sighed in his sea of consciousness. Senior, is there any way for me to have the strength to fight against Tianhong? Lu Ming asked. This time, Lu Ming did not expect the Tianhong Saint's son to arrive so quickly. However, given Lu Ming's character, even if he knew, he would still deal with Lu Feiyun. It was not in Lu Ming's character to swallow his anger. That kid is very powerful. With your current strength, there's only one way for you to fight against the Tianhong Saint's son in a short time, and that's to burn the ancient god heart completely. That way you'll gain great power for a short time. However, the consequence is that your ancient god's heart might disappear completely. The price to pay is extremely great. Bone sighed. Burning the ancient god heart? Will it completely disappear? Lu Ming also frowned. To be able to condense the ancient god heart was a great opportunity. This kind of opportunity could only be encountered and not sought. If it was lost, there would be no more. Lu Ming could not bear to part with it. With the ancient god's heart, his divine body could grow at all times. In the long run, the benefits were very amazing. However, if there was really no other way, he could only take a gamble. Lu Ming first of all kneeled down. The Tianhong Saint's son looked down from above. His aura was as vast as the ocean, pressing down on Lu Ming. At the same time, he extended a palm and pressed down. A huge palm, like an ancient divine mountain, pressed down on Lu Ming. The palm had not even reached him, but the terrifying pressure was already making Lu Ming's body creak. Unable to fight. Completely unable to fight. The gap between the two sides was too great. Both Lu Ming and Xueqi seemed very weak in front of the Tianhong Saint's son. It seems like I can only burn my ancient god heart. Lu Ming revealed a determined look. Although the ancient god's heart was precious, it was nothing compared to his life. Come on. Lu Ming made up his mind. He was ready to go all out and burn the ancient god heart. At this moment, a delicate voice shouted, Tianhong, you're a heavenly god realm saint, but you're actually dealing with a third-stage true god. You're really shameless. If you want to fight, it'll be your opponent. Before he finished speaking, a sword light had already flown over from the distance, like a flying immortal. Boom! The sword radiance hit the Tianhong Saint's son's palm print and a loud boom was heard. The palm print shook and was split in half by the sword radiance. Buzz! Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distant sky. Ouyang Xiangxiang. At the crucial moment, Ouyang Qingxiang made her move. She slashed open the Tianhong Saint's son's palm print. It was not that Ouyang Qingxiang was much stronger than the Tianhong Saint's son. It was just that the Tianhong Saint's son had not used his full strength in the previous attack. In order to save Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang had used even more strength to break the Tianhong Saint's son's palm print. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. Ouyang Qingxiang had arrived. It seemed that he did not need to burn the ancient god's heart. After all, the ancient god's heart was too precious. Lu Ming could not bear to waste it unless he had no other choice. Ouyang Qingxiang, are you trying to meddle in my business? The Tianhong Saint's son's face turned cold as he stared at Ouyang Qingxiang. What do you mean by being a busybody? Lu Ming and I are friends. If you want to deal with him, you'll be dealing with me. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Humph. Do you think you can stop me? The Tianhong Saint's son snorted. Golden divine power radiated from his body, and his aura grew stronger. You'll know once you try. Although you've become a saint earlier than me, you might not be able to defeat me. Ouyang Chong said coldly. An extremely powerful sword qi burst out from his body and pierced through the sky. Saintess Qingxiang and the Tianhong Saint's son are about to make a move. It's been a long time since the Holy Sons and Holy Virgins fought each other. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder who's stronger? I don't know. Although Holy Maiden Qingxiang became a Holy Maiden later, her talent is amazing. She might not be weaker than the Tianhong Saint's son. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be friends with Holy Maiden Qingxiang. Speaking of which, Lu Ming is indeed terrifying. If he grows up, I'm afraid he will surpass all the other Holy Sons and Holy Virgins. Only the Supreme Holy Son can fight him. That's right. I wonder how today's matter will be resolved. More and more people were gathering in this area. Even some of the inner sect elders had appeared and were watching from afar. Divine Dragon's great palm. Suddenly, the Tianhong Saint's son let out a long roar. His divine power burst forth, and his hands formed seals continuously. With a wave of his hand, a huge dragon claw formed. It was incomparably huge and grabbed toward Ouyang Qingxiang. Song of the Green Lotus Sword. Ouyang Qingxiang murmured. Her sword momentum soared to the sky as she swung her sword. A green sword light burst forth and slashed at the huge dragon claw. Boom! The terrifying collision caused thousands of waves. It was as if the entire inner gate area was shaking violently. Let's go up and fight. Ouyang Xiangxiang's voice was heard as her body turned into a green sword light and shot into the sky. Roar! A dragon's roar was heard from the Tianhong Saint's son's body. His body suddenly changed drastically. The Tianhong Saint's son's body became burly. His muscles bulged, and he was twice as big as before. A layer of golden scales appeared on the surface of his skin. Under the sunlight, they glowed. They were dragon scales. What was even more shocking was that the Tianhong Saint's son had grown a tail. A dragon tail. Dragon Man race. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. He recognized the Tianhong Saint Sun's race. The Tianhong Saint Sun was from the Dragonman race. Lu Ming had seen this race before. In the Yellow Spring world of Mount Netherworld, there was a country formed by the Dragonman race. Divine Dragon's Great Palm. The Tianhong Saint Sun revealed his true form, and his combat power was even stronger. He kept using the Dragon God's giant palm print. 9 golden dragon claws formed in the sky and grabbed toward Ouyang Qingxiang. Song of the Green Lotus Sword, sword shaking the world. Ouyang Qingxiang turned around, and a green sword chi shot out, slashing toward the golden dragon claw. The two of them were engaged in an intense battle, and the scene was extremely shocking. Lu Ming's expression was grave. With his current abilities, he was still far from being comparable to the Tianhong Saint Sun and Ouyang Qingxiang. It's just a 4th-level celestial deity. Lu Ming, don't belittle yourself. With your talent, you'll be able to catch up to them in a few years. The Bone Demon's voice was heard. It seemed to have seen through Lu Ming's thoughts. 4th-level heavenly deity? Lu Ming nodded. He wondered what the cultivation levels of the other holy sons and holy virgins of Kongxian sect were like. Buzz! Buzz! At this time, 2 figures flew over from the distance. They were Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng. Lu Ming, are you all right? Yu Linglong asked. I'm fine. Were you the ones who informed Holy Maiden Qingxiang? Thank you. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He knew that Ouyang Qingxiang must have rushed over after receiving the notice from Yu Linglong and the rest. It's good that you're fine. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng both nodded and looked up at the battle in the sky. Divine Dragon materialization art at that moment. Ouyang Qingxiang and the Tianhong Saint Sun had already exchanged more than 100 moves, and it was still difficult to determine the winner. The Tianhong Saint Sun's face grew gloomier. Ouyang Qingxiang, you're the one who forced me. I'll show you my real trump card, the Divine Dragon phenomenon. Come out. The Tianhong Saint Sun roared, and his divine power surged. Half of the sky was dyed golden. Roar. Then, a dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens. A huge true dragon appeared above the Tianhong Saint Sun. No, it shouldn't be called a true dragon. In the primeval universe, all true dragons who had reached the martial god realm were called divine dragons. Seeing this divine dragon, Lu Ming was in a daze. He thought that he had returned to the era when the divine wilderness continent was fighting for supremacy. This was because this move was very similar to the move of fusing the body with the blood when one was below the martial royal realm. However, this was clearly not a bloodline technique, but a secret technique. He had used a secret technique to form a divine dragon with a terrifying aura. What surprised Lu Ming the most was that this divine dragon did not have 5 claws but 6. 6-clawed, what happened? Could it be a mutated divine dragon? Lu Ming's mind was racing. Back then, when Lu Ming had just gone to the Yuan continent, he had met Xueqi. Her bloodline was a 6-clawed true dragon. In the heaven realm and the primordial realm, dragons had 6 claws. Those with 7 claws and above were considered mutants of the true dragons, such as the 9 dragons. Therefore, Lu Ming naturally thought that the divine dragon that the Tianhong Saint Sun had condensed was also a variant. Roar! The 6-clawed golden divine dragon roared as it pounced toward Ouyang Qingxiang with its tens of thousands of meters long body. Song of the Green Lotus Sword, sword out to kill the spirit. Facing the secret technique of the Tianhong Saint Sun, Ouyang Qingxiang's expression was extremely grave. She also used her ultimate technique. Countless green sword lights burst out of her body and gathered into a green lotus flower. It spun and flew toward the 6-clawed golden divine dragon. The 6-clawed golden divine dragon bellowed and struck out with its claws. The green lotus exploded with a deafening boom. The sky was boiling and the terrifying energy surged in all directions like a tsunami. This was the most powerful collision between the holy sons and holy virgins. The scene was shocking. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's body felt like it was boiling. The blood in his body seemed to be boiling, and there were even dragon roars coming from his blood. This is the voice of the 9 dragons. Lu Ming was extremely shocked. Lu Ming had received the Tianhong Saint Sun's attack. He was doomed. The Tianhong Saint Sun's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. What you said, is it true? Of course it's true. However, I have a condition. If I can take one of your moves and not die, you have to give me your divine dragon materialization technique. Lu Ming said. This was his plan. He wanted to obtain the Tianhong Saint Sun's divine dragon materialization art. You want my divine dragon materialization art? Delusional. The Tianhong Saint Sun's voice turned extremely cold. Why can't I? I'm betting my life with you. If I can't take one of your moves, I'll be dead. Isn't it worth it for me to use such a big price to bet a secret skill with you? Also, are you not confident in yourself? Do you think you can't kill me in one move? Lu Ming sneered. I'm not confident? What a joke. Fine, I'll bet with you. The Tianhong Saint Sun shouted. With his cultivation, he could kill Lu Ming with a casual move, let alone using his full strength. Why would he not dare to take the risk? He could take the opportunity to finish off Lu Ming completely. Lu Ming, you don't have to take the risk. I can stop him. Ouyang Qingxiang sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. It's fine. I'm confident. Don't worry. Holy Maiden Qingxiang. Lu Ming replied. Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes flickered. Then, she quickly retreated and put some distance between her and the Tianhong Saint Sun. The two of them stopped fighting. Next, Lu Ming, what do you want to do? Do you want to die? Even if you want to die, don't drag me along. At this moment, in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness, the Bone Demon was in a rage. Senior Bone Demon, this junior's life is in your hands, Lu Ming said. Look at me? Look at my ass. You're looking for death. Go and bear it yourself. The Bone Devil roared. Senior Bone Demon, are you going to just watch as this junior is killed? If this junior is killed, I'm afraid that this junior will never be able to accomplish Senior Jing Ye's mission. Lu Ming sighed. You're threatening me. The Bone Devil roared. Chapter 2803 Receive a Move. How would Junior dare to threaten Senior? In my current situation, I can only take the risk. Lu Ming sighed. You. Bone Demon's bone armor trembled in anger. He gritted his teeth and said, All right, I'll help you once more. I'm telling you, this is the last time, and I don't have much energy left. I might not be able to help you block that kid's attack. You're on your own. Senior only needs to block a portion of the enemy's power for Junior. Leave the rest to Junior. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Bone could only grit his teeth and agree. Boom. At that moment, the Tianhong Saint Sun appeared above Lu Ming. His violent aura kept pressing down on Lu Ming. A six-clawed divine dragon Dharma image hovered above the Tianhong Saint Sun's head, looking very powerful. Kid, do you have any last words? I'll give you a chance to say them. The Tianhong Saint Sun said coldly, full of confidence. If he used his full strength, even an ordinary fourth-level celestial deity would be killed by him, let alone Lu Ming. Make your move. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with a strong desire to fight. The 6 divine flames in his dantian flickered with all their might, and a scarlet gold armor appeared in front of him. At the same time, 9 ice chains flew out and surrounded Lu Ming. In addition, Xueqi turned into a pool of liquid metal and climbed onto Lu Ming's body. It manifested on Lu Ming's body and turned into armor. In Lu Ming's sea of consciousness, the Bone Demon's body glowed. A stream of energy surged into Lu Ming's body and formed a layer of defense. Small tricks, go to hell. The Tianhong Saint Sun shouted coldly, his eyes full of killing intent. Roar. The 6-clawed divine dragon phenomenon roared, and one of its dragon claws swiped at Lu Ming. He wanted to kill Lu Ming in one move. Originally, it was not allowed to kill fellow disciples in Kong Xian sect's territory, especially when Lu Ming was a saint. However, Lu Ming had taken the initiative to take a blow from the Tianhong Saint Sun. In that case, he was not restricted by the sect rules. This was also the reason why the Tianhong Saint Sun had agreed. He could take the opportunity to kill Lu Ming. Otherwise, it would not be so easy to kill Lu Ming if he hid in the sect and refused to leave. They've made their move. Can Lu Ming block them? Lu Ming is dead. Everyone's eyes were focused on Lu Ming, and many thoughts ran through their minds. Boom! The golden dragon claw was as big as a small mountain. It struck Lu Ming's body, and the first thing to be hit was the ice chain. Bang! 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 Almost instantly, the 9 ice chains all shattered. What a terrifying strength! Lu Ming was secretly shocked. Then, he felt an extremely powerful force pressing down on him like an avalanche. Block it. Lu Ming let out a long howl and exerted all his strength. However, when the dragon claw pressed down, the mountain rocks under Lu Ming's feet exploded and crumbled continuously, forming a huge pit. Lu Ming was blasted into the huge pit. Smoke and dust filled the air, and his figure could not be seen at all. How is it? Is Lu Ming dead? He's definitely dead. With his cultivation, he'll definitely die after taking a blow from the Tianhong Saint's son. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the huge pit, eager to know Lu Ming's situation. Lu Ming, Yu Linglong, Wu Zifeng, and Ouyang Qingxiang also stared at the big pit with worry. Humph, this kid is finally dead. The Tianhong Saint's son smiled. He had absolute confidence in his move. Although he did not use 100% of his strength, he had used 80%. Even with 80% of his strength, he was 10,000% confident that he could kill Lu Ming. However, the next moment, the smile on the Tianhong Saint's son's face disappeared. He was in disbelief. That is... Damn it, how is that possible? The Tianhong Saint's son roared. Cough, cough. Cough. At this moment, a dry cough came from the big pit. The smoke and dust dispersed, and everyone finally saw the situation clearly. He saw Lu Ming lying in the huge pit, covered in blood. He was also coughing out blood. Lu Ming was severely injured, but he did not die. He didn't die, he actually didn't die. Oh my god, he took the Tianhong Saint's son's attack head-on with his cultivation and didn't die. How is that possible? Many people exclaimed out of disbelief. As for Yu Linglong, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others, they were ecstatic. This fellow is indeed powerful. Lu Ming coughed up a few more mouthfuls of blood and circulated his divine energy to heal his injuries. He had indeed been severely injured by the attack just now. The Tianhong Saint's son was too powerful. His own defense crumbled in an instant, and Xueqi was injured as well. It turned into a bangle and Lu Ming put it on. If not for Bone Demon's help, he would not have been able to withstand a single move from the Tianhong Saint's son and would have been killed. But in the end, he still managed to block it. He had made the right bet. Damn it, kill. The Tianhong Saint's son was furious. He was filled with killing intent. He took a step forward and a wave of earth-shattering power charged toward Lu Ming. Tianhong, you're despicable. Ouyang Qingxiang had been staring at the Tianhong Saint's son for a long time. As soon as the Tianhong Saint's son attacked, Ouyang Qingxiang attacked as well. She slashed out with her sword, and a beam of sword light blocked the Tianhong Saint's son's attack. Tianhong, you made a bet with Lu Ming with one move. Now that you've failed to kill Lu Ming with one move, you want to make a second move. You're going back on your word. Are you qualified to be the saint of the Kongxian sect? Ouyang Qingxiang shouted angrily. The Tianhong Saint's son had no choice but to stop. Just now, many people had seen the bet between him and Lu Ming. It was impossible for them to go back on their words now. Tianhong, you've lost. Hand over the divine dragon materialization technique. Lu Ming struggled to get up and said to the Tianhong Saint's son. The Tianhong Saint's son's face darkened. He glared at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, I've underestimated you this time. However, it's impossible for me to hand over the divine dragon materialization art. Change your condition. I'll try my best to satisfy you. The Tianhong Saint's son actually wanted to go back on his word. I don't need to change my conditions. I just want the divine dragon materialization technique. We agreed on it during the bet. Tianhong, are you going back on your word now? Lu Ming said. The Tianhong Saint's son's killing intent had reached its peak. He had promised Lu Ming previously because he did not expect that he would lose. He thought that he would definitely win and thus agreed to Lu Ming's request. Lu Ming, don't push your luck. The Tianhong Saint's son said coldly. His threat was obvious. What insatiable. What a joke. I'm just getting what I deserve. I risked my life for this. Tianhong, hand over the divine dragon materialization technique. Lu Ming said loudly. The Tianhong Saint's son gritted his teeth and wished he could cut Lu Ming into pieces. However, with so many people watching today, if he went back on his word in public, it would damage his reputation greatly. It would also be disadvantageous for him to compete for the position of the sect leader of Kong Xian's sect in the future. What right did a person who went back on his word have to be in charge of the Kong Xian sect? 9-Clawed Divine Dragon Lu Ming. The Divine Dragon materialization technique requires the blood of the Divine Dragon in your body to cultivate. You don't have the blood of the Divine Dragon. Even if I give it to you, you won't be able to cultivate it. The Tianhong Saint Sun said. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to give me the Divine Dragon materialization technique. Lu Ming said indifferently. The Tianhong Saint Sun gritted his teeth. In the end he had no choice. His palm glowed and a scroll appeared. Here you go. The Tianhong Saint Sun waved his hand, and the scroll flew out with a terrifying howl. Needless to say, the scroll contained terrifying power. Ouyang Qingxiang's figure flashed as she caught the scroll. She came to Lu Ming's side and passed it to him. Many thanks. Lu Ming thanked him and took the scroll. He opened it and read it. Lu Ming's face darkened after he took a look. He looked at the Tianhong Saint Sun coldly and said, The Divine Dragon materialization art you gave me is incomplete. Do you want to go back on your word? Although he had never come into contact with the Divine Dragon materialization art, he could still tell whether a secret art was complete or not. The Divine Dragon materialization art I obtained was incomplete. Otherwise, how could you stop me? The Tianhong Saint Sun said coldly. Tianhong, if you want to go back on your word, just say it. There's no need to find such an excuse. Lu Ming revealed a mocking expression. I've said that the Divine Dragon materialization technique I obtained is incomplete. Don't you understand? The Tianhong Saint Sun's face turned even uglier. Lu Ming, that's true. I've heard before that Tianhong's Divine Dragon materialization technique was obtained from an ancient relic. It's indeed incomplete. At this moment, Ouyang Qingxiang spoke. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that the Tianhong Saint Sun was not lying. Let's go. In the air, the Tianhong Saint Sun snorted, waved his sleeves, and turned to leave. Today, he had really suffered a great loss. Not only did he fail to kill Lu Ming, but he also lost a Divine Dragon materialization technique. In his heart, he had already put Lu Ming on his must-kill list. The Tianhong Saint Sun and his people left in dejection. Holy Maiden Qingxiang, thank you for saving me this time. Lu Ming cupped his fists at Ouyang Qingxiang to express his gratitude. This time, without Ouyang Qingxiang, he would not have had the chance to gamble with the Tianhong Saint Sun. The Tianhong Saint Sun had agreed to the bet because he could not take down Ouyang Qingxiang in a short time. You're welcome. This time, it's all on you. Ouyang Xiangxiang's beautiful eyes flickered. She was even more curious about Lu Ming. Lu Ming was only at the 3rd stage True God realm, but he could actually take a blow from the Tianhong Saint Sun and not die. The Tianhong Saint Sun's cultivation base was at the peak of the 4th level Heavenly God realm. By the way, Saintess Qingxiang, why does the Divine Dragon Dharma form that the Tianhong Saint Sun condensed have 6 dragon claws? Lu Ming asked the question in his heart. That's a 6-clawed Divine Dragon. Don't tell me you don't even know that? Ouyang Qingxiang said. A 6-clawed Divine Dragon? Well, I don't really know much about the Dragon Clan. Lu Ming smiled awkwardly. In the Dragon Clan, the most ordinary Dragon Clan has 5 dragon claws. The Dragon Clan of a higher grade has 6 or even 7 dragon claws. Ouyang Xiangxiang explained. 6 dragon claws? 7 dragon claws? Isn't it because of the mutation? Lu Ming asked again. Mutation? The more dragon claws a dragon has, the purer their bloodline is, the higher their level, and the more powerful they are. In the Dragon Clan, most of the divine dragons are 5-clawed divine dragons, and 6-clawed divine dragons are already high-level divine dragons. There are very few of them. The more there are, the more talented and powerful they are, and the fewer they are. I heard that the highest level divine dragon in the Dragon Clan has 9 claws and is called the 9-clawed divine dragon. It is extremely terrifying. Ouyang Qingxiang explained. So it's like this. It seems that my understanding of the dragon race was wrong. Lu Ming mumbled to himself and came to a sudden realization. In the past, in the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm, all true dragons were 5-clawed, so the occasional 6-clawed or even 9-clawed dragon was thought to be a mutation. In fact, that was not the case. The more dragon claws there were, It was not a mutation. It just meant that the ancient bloodline in the dragon claws was thicker. It seems that the 9 dragons aren't mutated. It's just the manifestation of the ancient bloodline in their bodies that has reached an extreme level. What a pity, what a pity. At the thought of this, Lu Ming sighed. It was a pity that Jiolong was born in the heaven realm, a small kiliacosm. His talent might not have been fully activated. The 9-clawed divine dragon was the highest level of divine dragon in the primeval universe. If the 9 dragons were born in the primeval universe, their achievements would be limitless. Lu Ming, if you're interested in the Dragon Clan, you can look for some related books to read. These are common knowledge in the prehistoric universe. Ouyang Qingxiang said. All right, he said. Lu Ming nodded. However, he thought to himself, I'm afraid common sense is not necessarily the case. In a place like the chaotic astral river, I'm afraid that the understanding of the Dragon Clan is very limited. Otherwise, the ancestor of technique and even the ancestral dragon would have known about the origins of the 9 dragons. They all thought that the 9 dragons were the mutants of the true dragons. Immediately, Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and Wu Zifeng all left the place. Lu Ming first went to Enhai's residence to help him and the rest heal. A few days later, when Enhai and the others' injuries were no longer a problem, Lu Ming returned to his residence to cultivate and heal his injuries. He had taken the Tianhong Saint Sun's attack head-on and had been severely injured. It took him half a month to recover. After his injuries were healed, Lu Ming took out the secret technique, Divine Dragon Materialization Technique, and read it in detail. The Divine Dragon Materialization Technique was extremely mysterious. After successfully cultivating it, one could condense the Divine Dragon Materialization when they circulated it. Its power was extremely shocking. Moreover, the strength of the Divine Dragon phenomenon that was cultivated had a lot to do with the concentration of the Divine Dragon's bloodline in the cultivator's body. The higher and purer the bloodline, the more terrifying the power of the Divine Dragon phenomenon cultivated would be. After a few days, Lu Ming had almost figured out the Divine Dragon Materialization art. He then cultivated it according to the records on it. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming's cultivation was extremely smooth and without any difficulty. In just half a month, Lu Ming had successfully cultivated it. Roar! Lu Ming sat cross-legged in the courtyard and circulated the Divine Dragon Materialization Technique. A dragon's roar came from his body, and a divine dragon condensed above his head. This divine dragon was only a few meters long. The size of the divine dragon phenomenon could be controlled at will. Lu Ming could also change the divine dragon phenomenon to tens of thousands of meters long. What was shocking was that it had 8 dragon claws on its abdomen. It was an 8-clawed divine dragon. The Tianhong Saint Sun had only cultivated a 6-clawed divine dragon dharma power, while Lu Ming had cultivated an 8-clawed divine dragon dharma power. However, Lu Ming was not satisfied. He frowned slightly. The divine dragon phenomenon that he had cultivated was supposed to be a 9-clawed divine dragon. Chapter 2805 Dragonhead. As expected, this divine dragon materialization secret technique is incomplete. If it was complete, I would definitely be able to cultivate the 9-clawed divine dragon phenomenon. I might even be able to cultivate more than 1, 2, 3, 4, or even more. Lu Ming pondered in his heart. He was extremely eager for the complete divine dragon materialization art. Think about it, once he made a move, he could directly condense dozens of divine dragons. How amazing would his power be? The divine dragon materialization art was simply too suitable for him. There was no doubt that condensing the divine dragon phenomenon would consume a lot of divine power. However, Lu Ming cultivated the universal Tao mantra and could cultivate many divine flames. His divine power was much stronger than others. Also, he had the quantity formula and did not have to worry about not having enough Shen power. The Tianhong Saint Sun's divine dragon materialization technique was obtained from an ancient relic. Does that relic have a complete divine dragon phenomenon? Lu Ming pondered. He really wanted to obtain the complete divine dragon phenomenon. Once he obtained it, his combat strength would be greatly improved. Go and ask Ouyang Qingxiang. Let's see if she understands. At the thought of this, Lu Ming left the courtyard and headed to Ouyang Qingxiang's residence. The place where the saintess lived was naturally extraordinary. It occupied an entire mountain peak and was guarded. How impressive! Unfortunately, there are too few people who came to me. Otherwise, I could also apply for a mountain to live on. Lu Ming thought to himself. Of course, he only had 2 or 3 subordinates now. It would be a joke if he applied for a mountain with no one living in it. Stop. When Lu Ming came to the front of the mountain peak, he was blocked by a few young women. However, when the few young women saw Lu Ming's appearance clearly, they revealed looks of admiration. Holy Sun Lu Ming, it's you! Holy Sun Lu Ming, are you here to see our holy maiden? A few young and beautiful women blinked their big eyes and sized Lu Ming up curiously. Lu Ming had only joined the sect for a few decades and had become the Holy Sun with his true god-level cultivation. He was simply a legend in the Kongxian sect. Since ancient times, beauties loved heroes. Naturally, they were curious and worshipped him. Yes, I'm here to see Holy Maiden Qingxiang. I'll have to trouble you to inform her. Lu Ming smiled. All right. Please wait a moment. Holy Sun Lu Ming. Immediately, a young woman flew towards the mountain peak. After a while, a few figures flew out. The person in the lead was Ouyang Xiangxiang. Lu Ming, why are you looking for me today? Come, please come in. Ouyang Xiangxiang smiled and flew toward the peak with Lu Ming. They arrived at a pavilion and sat opposite each other. I'm here today to ask about Tianhong's divine dragon materialization technique. Saintess Qingxiang said that Tianhong's divine dragon materialization technique came from an ancient ruin. I wonder where that ruin is? Lu Ming asked. It seems that Brother Lu has remembered the complete divine dragon materialization technique. However, if you want to cultivate it, you need a rich divine dragon bloodline. Otherwise, even if you get it, you can't cultivate it. What does Brother Lu want the divine dragon materialization technique for? A gift? Ouyang Qingxiang asked curiously. Of course I'm going to train by myself. Lu Ming said with a smile. Cultivate on your own? Ouyang Xiangxiang was even more curious. However, the next moment, her beautiful eyes widened as a divine dragon suddenly appeared above Lu Ming's head. Divine dragon phenomenon, and it's an 8-clawed divine dragon phenomenon. Ouyang Qingxiang's red lips widened in shock, and she only recovered after a long while. Brother Lu, I've really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to have the bloodline of a divine dragon in your body. Furthermore, you've managed to cultivate the divine dragon phenomenon in just a month. It's even an 8-clawed divine dragon. I wonder what Tianhong's expression will be like when he sees this? Ouyang Xiangxiang exclaimed. Unfortunately, the divine dragon materialization technique that Tianhong gave me was incomplete. Lu Ming sighed. Ouyang Qingxiang finally understood why Lu Ming wanted the complete divine dragon materialization technique. Tianhong found the divine dragon materialization technique in an ancient ruin, Yemo said. He's been keeping the ruin a secret all these years and has been excavating it secretly. I guess he wants to get the complete divine dragon materialization technique, but he hasn't succeeded. I once sent people to investigate and found out where the ruins were. Ouyang Qingxiang said. I know. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded. The ruins are in a rather remote place in the Qin Heaven star system. It's a place called the Yellow Wind Galaxy. Lu Ming, if you want to go, I can go with you. Thank you. Lu Ming stood up to thank him. With Ouyang Xiangxiang going with him, his confidence would be much greater. There's no time to waste. Let's go now. Ouyang Xiangxiang was also a decisive person. She immediately went to the teleportation array of the Kongxian sect with Lu Ming. They took the teleportation array and rushed to the Yellow Wind Galaxy. The Yellow Wind Galaxy was very far away from the Kongxian sect. It took the 2 of them a month and a half to arrive at a planet in the Yellow Wind Galaxy by using the teleportation formation. After that, the 2 of them boarded the interplanetary warship and flew toward their destination. After flying for a few more days, a strange planet appeared in front of them. From afar, this planet looked like a dragon's head. It was like a gigantic divine dragon that had its head chopped off. Its head was floating in the air, forming a planet. This is Dragonhead Planet, Yemo said. There are no living creatures on this planet. It's a desolate place. The relic of the divine dragon materialization technique that Tianhong obtained is on this planet. Now, Tianhong is probably on this planet. We should be careful not to alert him. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming nodded. Immediately, The two of them exited the interplanetary warship and appeared in the starry sky. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, he could still fly in the starry sky for a short time. As for Ouyang Xiangxiang, she was a heavenly god and could cross the starry sky with her own strength. The two of them concealed their auras and flew toward Dragonhead Star. Not long after, the two of them entered the atmosphere of Dragonhead Planet and landed on a mountain. The ruins should be in the east. Let's go, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Dragonhead Planet wasn't very big. It was much smaller than the other life planets. In a short while, they had flown past more than half of the planets. A huge mountain range appeared in front of them, like a divine dragon lying on the ground. Suddenly, they saw a figure flash by. The two of them quickly hid and watched from afar. At the head of the mountain range, there was a huge cave. A group of people were guarding the cave. There were young people and old people. It's Tianhong's men. It seems that Tianhong is indeed here, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming frowned slightly. The people from the Tianhong sect were guarding the entrance of the cave. How were they going to enter? Chapter 2806. Barging in. Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang simply waited at the same spot. They wanted to wait for the Tianhong Saint Sun's people to leave before entering the ruins. However, a month had passed, and the Tianhong Saint Sun's people showed no signs of leaving. Holy Maiden Qingxiang, what is the cultivation level of those guards? Lu Ming asked. Some of them are very strong and are outer sect elders. Some are third-level celestial deities, and two are fourth-level celestial deities. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Oh, Holy Maiden Qingxiang, can you help me distract those people? I'll sneak into the cave. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. It's not a problem to lure those people away. However, Tianhong is very likely to be in that cave. There might be other experts in there. It will be very dangerous for you to go in, Ouyang Qingxiang said. I won't be impulsive. I'll sneak in and hide myself. I won't expose myself if I'm not confident, Lu Ming said. All right, let's do that. Ouyang Qingxiang was also a decisive person. She immediately nodded and the two of them approached the cave. The cave was very big and dark, so he couldn't see what was inside. Outside the cave, there were more than a dozen people who looked listless. There were no other living beings here at all. They were only guarding this place just in case. Buzz! At this moment, Ouyang Xiangxiang immediately rushed out. Who is it? Immediately, an old man shouted. It's Holy Maiden Qingxiang. She wants to enter the ruins. Stop her. The guards roared and charged toward Ouyang Qingxiang. Over a dozen people, half of them were celestial deity realm. There were even two fourth-level celestial deities, their combat strength very strong. However, Ouyang Qingxiang was a saintess. She had control over saint-grade divine power and was extremely powerful. She easily blocked the attacks of these people. Go and report to the saint that Ouyang Qingxiang is here. I'll go. An elder immediately rushed into the cave and disappeared. The rest of the people focused on dealing with Ouyang Qingxiang. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Ming quickly flashed along the ground, using the obstacles on the ground to hide his figure. The other party did not notice him. Lu Ming successfully rushed into the cave. The cave was dark and deep. Lu Ming slid down slowly along the wall of the cave. After sliding down for tens of thousands of meters, he finally reached the bottom of the cave. At the bottom of the cave, there was a passage that was a few thousand meters high. It was huge, and the walls were inlaid with some luminous stones that emitted a faint glow. Lu Ming dashed into the passage and kept moving forward. There's someone. Suddenly, Lu Ming had an idea. He quickly hid in a groove on the wall. The walls of the tunnel were uneven. Some of them were protruding while others were sunken. It was easy to hide. After hiding themselves, a few figures flashed through the passage. Lu Ming could clearly see that they were a few elders. They must have gone to support Ouyang Qingxiang. They were in a hurry and did not notice Lu Ming. After the few elders left, Lu Ming continued to walk forward in the passage. Not long after, Lu Ming passed through the passageway and came to a huge underground space. After Lu Ming arrived, he was stunned. The underground space was extremely vast. At the very front, there was a huge stone staircase that was 10,000 meters tall. Above the staircase was a palace that looked like the legendary Dragon Palace. At the bottom of the stairs, there were a few figures standing. Lu Ming saw at a glance that one of them was the Tianhong Saint's son. The other two people were two old men. The two of you, go out together and take down that B*TCH, Ouyang Qingxiang. The Tianhong Saint's son's cold voice was heard. But Saint, once we leave, you'll be the only one left. An old man said hesitantly. It doesn't matter. I'm about to climb the sacred dragon stairs. On the sacred dragon stairs, no matter who it is, they will be under terrifying pressure and will be protected. No one who enters will be able to hurt me. You can put it down. The Tianhong Saint's son waved his hand. All right, then we'll be going out. The two old men nodded. Then their figures flashed and they rushed outside. The Tianhong Saint's son's eyes were burning with desire as he looked at the stairs. I don't believe that I can't climb up. I can definitely. The Tianhong Saint's son growled. His body swelled up and transformed into the form of the Dragon Man race. Golden divine power emanated from his body. He stepped onto the stairs. Bang! When the Tianhong Saint's son stepped onto the stairs, there was a huge boom, as if a mountain had fallen to the ground. The Tianhong Saint's son landed steadily on the first step and stepped up to the second. Every step he took caused the stairs to rumble. It was as if every step he took was extremely heavy. There is indeed a powerful pressure on the stairs. Lu Ming pondered. He took a look and understood what was going on. He had encountered this type of test many times. The Tianhong Saint's son was very fast at first. Soon, he had covered half the distance and started to slow down. It was obvious that the more he advanced, the greater the pressure he felt. Roar! Dragon roars came from the Tianhong Saint's son's body. The golden dragon scales on his body glowed even more brightly. His eyes were determined as he slowly climbed up. Unfortunately, after walking for a while, the Tianhong Saint's son's figure almost stopped. I don't believe it. I don't believe I can't make it. My dragon blood, boil. The Tianhong Saint's son roared. Blood-red light covered his body, and a six-clawed divine dragon appeared above his head. He had even used the divine dragon phenomenon, which allowed the Tianhong Saint's son to continue moving up. Unfortunately, when he was 2/3 up the stairs, he stopped completely and could not take another step. Damn it, why? Is my divine dragon bloodline not strong enough? Why? The Tianhong Saint's son roared angrily. He was extremely unwilling. Is there the complete divine dragon materialization technique on it? Lu Ming made a guess. Since the Tianhong Saint's son wanted to climb the stairs so badly, it was very likely that the complete divine dragon materialization art was on it. Come closer. Lu Ming followed the obstacles at the side and slowly approached the stairs. He was getting closer and closer to the palace above the stairs. At this moment, Lu Ming actually felt that his blood was slowly boiling. At the same time, there was a kind of desire. Yes, it was a desire, a feeling that appeared in his blood. It was as if there was something on the stairs that deeply attracted Lu Ming. I must go to the top of the palace. Lu Ming muttered. His eyes were firm as he made a decision. There was a strong pressure on the stairs. The others seemed to be unable to go up. The Tianhong Saint's son was on top and had no power to attack. Lu Ming was not afraid. Chapter 2806 Scroll Lu Ming made the decision to go up. Lu Ming was a decisive person. Since he had made his decision, he would not hesitate anymore. He did not have time to hesitate. If Ouyang Qingxiang could not hold the Tianhong Saint's son's men outside, he would be in trouble when the experts returned. Buzz! Lu Ming no longer hesitated. He dashed out and headed for the stairs. The Tianhong Saint's son noticed Lu Ming the moment he rushed out. Lu Ming, it's you. The Tianhong Saint's son roared, and his killing intent exploded. However, he was on the stairs and could not kill Lu Ming even if he wanted to. Bang! Lu Ming landed heavily on the first step of the staircase, causing a heavy boom. Immediately, Lu Ming felt a powerful force coming from the top of the stairs. It was as if it could topple mountains and overturn the seas. It pressed down on Lu Ming, trying to blast him off the stairs. Humph! You want to climb the Holy Dragon stairs without the Divine Dragon's bloodline in your body? You're daydreaming. The Tianhong Saint's son sneered and took a few steps down. He was waiting for Lu Ming to be blasted out of the Holy Dragon steps. Then he would go and kill Lu Ming. This time, he wanted Lu Ming to die a miserable death. However, in the next moment, his body froze. This was because Lu Ming did not get blasted down the stairs as he had expected. Instead, he stood firmly on the stairs. You have the bloodline of a divine dragon? The Tianhong Saint's son asked gloomily. In this world, your dragon man race isn't the only one with the bloodline of the divine dragon. Lu Ming smiled faintly. It turned out that only those who had the bloodline of the divine dragon could climb the stairs. If one did not have the bloodline of the divine dragon, they would be blasted down the stairs by the power of the stairs. Just now, when Lu Ming had just stepped onto the stairs, he had almost been blasted off. At the critical moment, the 9 dragons' blood essence in his blood boiled and he was able to stand on the stairs. Humph, so what if you have the bloodline of the divine dragon? Can you ascend it? You can't go up there. When you're exhausted, I'll be the time of your death. The Tianhong Saint's son said coldly, then strode down the stairs. He was very relaxed when he returned. The Tianhong Saint's son soon reached the first step and came to Lu Ming's side. However, there was a force guarding the steps, so he could not do anything to Lu Ming. The Tianhong Saint's son cast a murderous glance at Lu Ming and stepped out of the staircase. He landed outside the staircase and stood guard there. He was waiting for Lu Ming to exhaust his strength and fall down. Then he could kill Lu Ming. You can just wait. Lu Ming smiled contemptuously. He then turned around and strode up the stairs. Bang! 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 With every step he took, the stairs would rumble. Lu Ming's speed was very fast and he had taken hundreds of steps in no time. He was even faster than the Tianhong Saint's son. This kid. How can he be so fast? The Tianhong Saint's son looked terrible. The pressure behind is getting greater and greater, and the difficulty is also getting higher and higher. This kid definitely can't go up. Definitely can't. The Tianhong Saint's son kept shouting in his heart. He was a heaven's favorite of the Dragonman race and the divine dragon bloodline in his body was very thick. It was comparable to the 6-clawed divine dragon among the divine dragons. He did not believe that Lu Ming, a human, could have a thicker divine dragon bloodline than him. However, the truth slapped him in the face. Lu Ming's speed did not slow down at all. Very soon, he had crossed half of the steps, followed by 2/3. This was already the limit of the Tianhong Saint's son's journey, but Lu Ming had managed to reach this point in one go. At this point, Lu Ming's speed slowed down. The pressure here was already very shocking. The blood in Lu Ming's body churned rapidly, as if it was about to burn. Roar! A dragon's roar could be heard from the blood. A 9-headed dragon shuttled through the blood in a lifelike manner. A layer of blood mist covered the surface of Lu Ming's body. Then, the blood mist gathered into a 9 dragon in the air and roared into the sky. 9. A 9-clawed divine dragon, it's a 9-clawed divine dragon. The Tianhong Saint's son yelled in disbelief. He was so shocked that he almost jumped. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that Lu Ming's body contained the bloodline of the 9-clawed divine dragon, the highest level among the divine dragons. No wonder this boy can walk so fast. It turns out that he has the bloodline of a 9-clawed divine dragon in his body. If I can snatch the bloodline of a 9-clawed divine dragon from his body and use it for my own use, my talent will be improved by many times. The Tianhong Saint's son's eyes were filled with greed. The manifestation of the 9 dragons lightened the pressure on Lu Ming and he sped up again. Very soon, Lu Ming was only 100 steps away from the end of the stairs. However, the pressure on the last 100 steps was also the most terrifying. Lu Ming's body trembled with every step he took. Divine Dragon Materialization Art. Break. Lu Ming growled and activated the Divine Dragon Materialization Art. An 8-clawed divine dragon formed above his head. The divine dragon roared and pounced forward, helping Lu Ming break the pressure on the stairs. Instantly, the pressure was reduced again. Lu Ming quickly went up. Divine Dragon Materialization Art. Damn it! The Tianhong Saint's son gritted his teeth when he saw Lu Ming use the Divine Dragon Materialization Art. He was both shocked and jealous. It had only been a short while, but Lu Ming had already cultivated the Divine Dragon Materialization technique and even cultivated an 8-clawed divine dragon. He had been cultivating the Divine Dragon Materialization Art for tens of thousands of years, but he had only managed to cultivate one 6-clawed divine dragon. This made him even more greedy for Lu Ming's 9-dragon bloodline. Bang! Bang! The rumbling sounds on the stairs continued. Lu Ming was getting closer and closer to the top of the stairs. The Tianhong Saint Sun's face grew gloomier. With the last boom, Lu Ming successfully stepped onto the platform above the stairs. Above the stairs was a majestic palace. The palace's door was open, and it was impossible to see what was inside. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Without any hesitation, he strode forward and walked through the door. After stepping through the door, the light suddenly brightened. Lu Ming could see the situation behind the door clearly. Behind the door was a wide hall. There was nothing else in the hall. It was empty. Lu Ming looked around but did not find anything. However, the center of the hall attracted Lu Ming's attention. In the middle of the hall, there was a stone pillar that was more than a meter tall. Above the stone pillar, there was a scroll floating, emitting a gentle light. What was amazing was that there was a small divine dragon made of energy flying around the scroll. Could it be the complete divine dragon materialization art? Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he stepped forward. Kid, there's a defensive formation on this scroll. Bone warned. A defensive formation? Then how do we break it? Lu Ming asked. It's simple. You have the blood essence of a 9-clawed divine dragon in your body. You just need to drip a drop of your blood on the scroll, and you'll naturally be able to break the formation on it. Bone said. That's simple. Lu Ming forced out a drop of blood and dripped it on the scroll. The complete divine dragon materialization technique. When Lu Ming's blood dripped onto the scroll, a dragon's roar was heard from the scroll. Then, the scroll emitted a dazzling light that only disappeared after a long while. At the bottom of the stairs, the Tianhong Saint Sun was extremely anxious. He was even more anxious when he suddenly heard the dragon's roar and the light above. Damn it! Did that kid already get the complete divine dragon materialization technique? The Tianhong Saint Sun thought anxiously. He rushed up the stairs, but the pressure on the stairs stopped him. He could only step back unwillingly. Humph! I'll wait here. Lu Ming, even if you get the complete divine dragon materialization art, you'll just be making a wedding dress for me. Haha, this is good too. It saves me trouble. The Tianhong Saint Sun laughed coldly. He felt better at the thought of this. In the hall, after the light on the scroll disappeared, Lu Ming reached out and grabbed the scroll. There was nothing unusual. Lu Ming opened the scroll in anticipation. There were many small words in the scroll, densely packed. Lu Ming read it carefully. After a while, he put down the scroll. The complete divine dragon materialization art. It's really the complete divine dragon materialization art. Lu Ming's face was filled with ecstasy. This scroll indeed recorded the complete divine dragon materialization technique. It was extremely mysterious, much more so than the incomplete divine dragon materialization technique. If it could be cultivated to major accomplishment, its power would definitely be shocking. It could become Lu Ming's trump card and even surpass the ice chain. How do I get down? Lu Ming kept the scroll and started to think. The Tianhong Saint Sun must be guarding the bottom of the stairs. If he went down, the Tianhong Saint Sun would definitely not let him go. Forget it. I'll wait for a while. If it really doesn't work, I'll just cultivate here for a while. I wonder how Holy Maiden Qingxiang is doing? Lu Ming had an idea in his mind. He then started to wander around the palace. There were other doors around the palace. Lu Ming walked around but found nothing. Then, he walked to the door at the end of the hall. Behind the door at the end of the hall, there was a long corridor that went straight ahead. After passing through the corridor, a beam of light suddenly shot down from above. Lu Ming looked up and realized that it was a door of light. The light was shining through the door of light. Could this be a teleportation gate? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. This is the teleportation gate. It should be an escape route that leads to the outside world. The Bone Devil's voice sounded. Haha, the heavens are on my side. Tianhong, just wait. Lu Ming laughed out loud. He then rose into the air and rushed towards the light door. Lu Ming's figure disappeared into the door of light. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in a canyon. It's out, it's really out. Let's go find Holy Maiden Qingxiang now. Lu Ming turned into a beam of light and left the place. This canyon was not far from the entrance. Very soon, Lu Ming heard a violent roar coming from the front. Ouyang Xiangxiang was currently engaged in an intense battle with a group of experts. More than 10 elders were all heavenly gods. Among them, there were even 1 or 2 5th-level heavenly gods and a few 4th-level heavenly gods. Facing so many experts, Ouyang Qingxiang mainly focused on defense and was not at a disadvantage at all. Lu Ming flew over and shouted from a distance, "Holy Maiden Qingxiang, let's go!" What? When she saw Lu Ming suddenly appear from behind, Ouyang Qingxiang was clearly stunned and very surprised. Lu Ming had clearly entered the cave from the entrance. Why did he suddenly run to the back? However, she didn't think too much about it and started to attack. Song of the Green Lotus Sword, die! Ouyang Qingxiang shouted as she waved her sword. Green lotuses appeared in the air, each of which emitted a terrifying sword qi that forced the elders to retreat. Ouyang Xiangxiang took the opportunity to break out of the tight encirclement and flew toward Lu Ming. "Are we going to chase them?" An old man said. "Ouyang Qingxiang is too powerful. Even if we catch up with her, we can't do anything to her. Our duty is to guard here and report this situation to the saint." Another old man said. "All right." The others nodded. They did not know that Lu Ming had sneaked in and even obtained the complete divine dragon materialization technique that the Tianhong Saint Sun had been dreaming of. If they had known, they would not have let Lu Ming and his companion leave so easily. An elder rushed into the cave to report to the Tianhong Saint Sun. Ouyang Xiangxiang had already arrived beside Lu Ming. "Let's go back to the Kongxian sect," Lu Ming said. Ouyang Xiangxiang did not ask any further. She and Lu Ming soared into the sky and took out the Starry Sky battleship. They boarded the battleship and left Dragon Head Planet. The Tianhong Saint Sun was still standing guard at the bottom of the stairs. "Kid, let's see how long you can stay here." The Tianhong Saint Sun snorted. His eyes were filled with killing intent and passion. After a while, an old man rushed in. "How is it? How's that be asterisk tch Ouyang Xiangxiang?" The Tianhong Saint Sun asked. "He's gone. He's already left." The old man replied. "He left? You're all really trash. If it wasn't for the fact that I couldn't leave this place, I would have personally suppressed her." The Tianhong Saint Sun snorted, which made the elder's face turn ugly. "Is it just Ouyang Qingxiang? Are there any others?" The Tianhong Saint Sun said. "Why yes, there's one more person. It's Lu Ming. He left with Holy Maiden Qingxiang," the old man said. However, before the elder could finish, the Tianhong Saint Sun yelled in disbelief. "What? What did you just say? You mean Lu Ming?" The Tianhong Saint Sun jumped up and yelled at the elder as if he was going to eat him. The elder was shocked. He did not understand why the Tianhong Saint Sun had such a huge reaction when he heard Lu Ming's name. He was confused. "Look carefully. That's really Lu Ming and not anyone else." The Tianhong Saint Sun asked, his eyes wide. "There's no mistake. It's definitely Lu Ming." The old man said firmly. Damn it, there's still a way up there. Damn it, chase, quickly chase." The Tianhong Saint Sun roared. He turned into a beam of light and chased after them. Outside the cave, the Tianhong Saint Sun led his subordinates and chased after the Kongxian sect. However, it was already too late. Lu Ming and the rest had long left. In the starship. "Lu Ming, have you already obtained the complete divine dragon materialization technique?" Ouyang Qingxiang asked curiously. "Not bad." Lu Ming nodded. He did not hide anything and told her what had happened in the cave. "This time, I have to thank Holy Maiden Qingxiang for her help. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for me to help. In the future, if Holy Maiden Qingxiang needs anything, feel free to ask. Lu Ming will definitely not refuse." Lu Ming said. "You're welcome," Yemo said. "But I'm afraid Tianhong will find out soon and will come after you. He has been trying to get the complete divine dragon materialization technique. Now that you've got it, I'm afraid he'll go crazy. We need to hurry back to Kongxian sect to make preparations." Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming nodded. The battle between the Holy Sons and Holy Virgins. After traveling for more than a month, Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang returned to Kongxian sect. After returning to the Kongxian sect, Lu Ming immediately brought in Hai, Lu Chang, and Zhao Feng to Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence. Xueqi is still in the Divine Pulse Tower. I hope she doesn't come out during this time. Lu Ming pondered. However, Lu Ming had kept a low profile when he brought Xueqi to the Kongxian sect. Not many people knew about his relationship with Xueqi, so she should be fine. After Ouyang Xiangxiang returned to her residence, she gathered many experts from her faction and stationed them on the mountain peak where she lived. Not long after Lu Ming and the rest returned, the Tianhong Saint's son returned with his men. The moment he returned, he rushed to Lu Ming's residence. When he did not find Lu Ming, he went to Anhai. The residences of Lu Chong and the others were also empty. Humph. You're definitely hiding at that B*TCH Ouyang Qingxiang's place. Don't think that you'll be fine just because you're hiding there. If you don't hand over the divine dragon materialization art, it'll kill you even if you hide at the ends of the earth. The Tianhong Saint's son's furious roar was heard. He then gathered a large number of experts and charged toward Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence. Why did the Tianhong Saint's son suddenly gather so many experts? Something big has happened. Something big must have happened. He is heading towards where Saintess Qingxiang lives. Does he want to start a war with her? Quick, inform the saint. The Tianhong Saint's son had gathered so many experts and rushed toward Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence in an overbearing manner. Naturally, this could not be hidden from the others. The people from the other Saint's son's factions soon found out, and many of them rushed toward Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence. At Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence, Lu Ming, Ouyang Xiangxiang, and the rest were having a meeting. They're here. An old woman suddenly spoke and looked outside. The old woman was an inner court elder from Ouyang Qingxiang's faction. She was extremely powerful. They came quite quickly. Let's go out and welcome them. Ouyang Qingxiang sneered. They walked out of the courtyard and stood in the air. Boom, boom, boom. In the distance, there was a rumbling explosion, and then waves of terrifying divine power surged over like thousands of soldiers. However, there were also many experts gathered at Ouyang Xiangxiang's residence. All of them released their auras, and their auras shot up into the sky like smoke, crushing the surging waves of divine power. On the horizon, a black mass of people appeared. There were more than 1,000 people. The person in the lead was the Tianhong Saint's son. The Tianhong Saint's son and his people stopped 1,000 miles away. Lu Ming. The Tianhong Saint's son's eyes fell on Lu Ming, filled with murderous intent and greed. Tianhong, what do you want to do by bringing so many people here in such an aggressive manner? Ouyang Qingxiang asked despite already knowing the answer. What do you want? It's very simple. Hand Lu Ming over to me and I'll leave with my men immediately. The Tianhong Saint's son said. Give you holy son Lu Ming? What a joke. Lu Ming is also a saint. He can't be taken away by just anyone. Ouyang Qingxiang sneered. Today, I must take Lu Ming away. Whoever stops me will be my enemy. I will not hesitate to fight. The Tianhong Saint's son said coldly. Not only did Lu Ming take the complete divine dragon materialization art, but he also had the bloodline of the 9-clawed divine dragon. To the Tianhong Saint's son, Lu Ming was a huge treasure trove. As long as he could obtain Lu Ming's 9-clawed divine dragon bloodline and the complete divine dragon materialization technique, his combat strength would definitely be elevated to an astonishing level. He could even surpass the Supreme Holy Son and become the #1 Holy Son of the Kongxian sect. In that case, the position of the future sect leader of the Kongxian sect would be in his pocket. When he thought of this, his heart was burning with passion. He had to get Lu Ming. If you want to fight, then fight. Do you think he'll be afraid of you? Ouyang Xiangxiang was extremely domineering. Good, very good. Today, I'll destroy your sect. Attack and take down Lu Ming. The Tianhong Saint's son roared. Boom, 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 boom. The experts from the Tianhong Saint's son's faction and Ouyang Qingxiang's faction all unleashed terrifying auras. They clashed in the air, creating powerful shockwaves. There were quite a few inner sect elders here. They were all peak heavenly god realm existences. At this moment, the clash of auras was earth-shaking. Then, a few figures soared into the sky. In an instant, they had rushed out of the atmosphere and were fighting in the starry sky. A peak heavenly god was too terrifying. If they fought within the atmosphere, the damage to the earth would be unimaginable. Kill! The most powerful people fought beyond the starry sky, while the Tianhong Saint Sun and the others attacked Ouyang Qingxiang and Lu Ming. Attack! Ouyang Qingxiang and the others did not back down and also charged over. Ouyang Xiangxiang once again engaged the Tianhong Saint Sun in battle. Capture Lu Ming! Take him down! A few heavenly god-level powerhouses charged at Lu Ming. Fortunately, Ouyang Qingxiang also had an expert by Lu Ming's side who blocked the other party's attack. Thousands of experts from both sides were engaged in a fierce battle. And this area was already surrounded by people. Even Saint Sun Jixia and Saintess Xuetan had come. What exactly happened? Tianhong actually led his men to fight Ouyang Xiangxiang. Saint Sun Jixia said, full of doubts. I don't know, but it must be something big. Otherwise, the Tianhong Saint Sun wouldn't be so crazy. He's bent on capturing Lu Ming. I guess Lu Ming has offended him again. Holy Maiden Xuetan said. However, they would not stop them. They were looking forward to the battle between the Tianhong Saint Sun and Ouyang Qingxiang. It would be best if both of them were seriously injured. That way they would have less competition. The battle was getting more and more intense, and there were even people who had fallen. Boom! At this moment, a huge hand suddenly appeared in the starry sky. This huge hand was boundlessly huge, and it pressed down on the inner sect elders who were fighting. God King! The inner sect elders screamed in horror. Then they were crushed by the big hand, and they were blasted into the atmosphere like meteorites, falling to the ground. Then, a figure suddenly appeared in the sky, exuding a terrifying pressure that pressed down on the people from the Tianhong Saint Sun's and Ouyang Qingxiang's factions. The people of the two factions were immediately locked in the air by this energy, unable to move. Brat, a God King has appeared. I'm going to hide. Bone's voice rang out before disappearing into Jing Ye's portrait. God King, what a terrifying pressure. Lu Ming looked at the figure in the sky, his eyes filled with shock. At this moment, his body couldn't move at all under the pressure. Even the high-level Divine Realm experts couldn't move an inch. It's the Deputy Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall. Someone exclaimed. The Tianhong Saint Sun, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the others also looked serious. Clearly, their battle had alerted the Tribunal Council. Even the Divine King Vice Hall Master had come personally. As holy sons and holy virgins, you actually led your fellow disciples to kill each other. How can you do that? The authoritative voice of the Enforcement Hall's Vice Hall Master sounded. Chapter 2811, Opening the Bronze Door. Deputy Hall Master. It's Tianhong. He suddenly sent people to attack me. I could only lead my men to resist. Ouyang Xiangxiang was the first to speak. Bull *T. You and that Lu Ming kid joined forces and snatched my treasure. It's only right and proper for me to take Lu Ming and take back my treasure. The Tianhong Saint Sun roared. What a joke, what treasure? That's a secret technique from a relic. As long as you haven't obtained anything from the relic, you'll get a share. You're the useless one who can't get it, and now that I've got it, I have to give it to you? Lu Ming's mocking voice was heard. I've already discovered the ruins. The Tianhong Saint Sun roared, bursting with cold killing intent. He glared at Lu Ming ferociously, wanting to cut him into pieces. Ha ha ha, laughable, even more laughable. You're a saint child, yet you actually said such laughable words. According to your logic, as long as I explore all the ruins, once I find it, it'll be mine, and no one else is allowed to enter? Is that even possible? I'm really suspicious. How did you become the saint with such a brain? There are still so many people who want to join you? Hey, all of you who have submitted to Tianhong, think carefully. There's no future in following such a person. Why don't you all come and submit to me? Lu Ming laughed heartily. What did you just say? Piece of *T, I'm going to kill you. The Tianhong Saint Sun was furious. His eyes were burning with rage. He wanted to rush up and kill Lu Ming. Unfortunately, he could not move under the pressure of the Vice Hall Master of the Law Enforcement Hall. Alright, no matter what grudges you have between yourselves, you'll be severely punished for killing your fellow sect members within the sect. The Vice Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall spoke. His voice was filled with dignity and killing intent, causing many people to shiver. The Vice Hall Master of the Law Enforcement Hall was famous for his strictness in law enforcement. Even the Tianhong Saint's son felt his heart turn cold and suppressed his anger. Tianhong, you started the fight first. It's your fault. I'll give you 3 days to hand over 200,000 points. Then go to the wall-facing cliff and face the wall for 20 years. Do you agree? The Vice Hall Master of the Law Enforcement Hall looked at the Tianhong Saint's son coldly. The Tianhong Saint's son was very unconvinced, but he didn't dare to say no. Yes. The Tianhong Saint's son lowered his head. His killing intent had reached its peak. Lu Ming, if I don't kill you, I'm not a human. The bloodline of the 9-clawed divine dragon and the divine dragon materialization art are all mine. The Tianhong Saint's son roared in his heart. Qingxiang, since you were on the defensive and you are not in the wrong, you will be punished to face the wall for 10 years. Are you willing to accept this? The Vice Hall Master of the Enforcement Hall looked at Ouyang Qingxiang. This disciple is sincerely convinced. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded. All right, now, let's all disperse. The Vice Palace Master of the Enforcement Palace waved his hand, and the pressure disappeared without a trace. Let's go. The Tianhong Saint's son growled and left with his men. It's over. The Holy Sons Ji Xia and Xue Tan were a little disappointed and left one after another. Holy Son Qingxiang, Lu Ming has implicated you. Lu Ming looked at Ouyang Qingxiang apologetically. It was all because of Lu Ming that Ouyang Qingxiang was punished. Moreover, some people from her faction had fallen and many people were injured. Lu Ming felt a little apologetic. It's okay. I'll just have to face the wall for 10 years. I'll pass in the blink of an eye. I can train my state of mind. However, the Tianhong Saint's son has also been punished. He won't dare to make a move in the sect for a while. However, you still have to be careful outside the sect. Tianhong won't let this go easily. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming nodded. Not long after, Lu Ming bade farewell to Ouyang Qingxiang and returned to his residence. The days after that were indeed peaceful. The Tianhong Saint's son did not send anyone to deal with Lu Ming. I still have to increase my strength as soon as possible. Now that Xueqi has broken through to the 8th stage True God realm, it's a great help for me. If Xueqi can break through to the Celestial God realm, I'll be great. I'll go exchange for some divine weapon fragments for Xueqi to eat. Lu Ming pondered and then sorted out all the storage rings he had on him. During this period of time, he had killed many powerful enemies and obtained many storage rings. The number of treasures and divine crystals he had collected was shocking. Lu Ming exchanged most of the treasures and divine crystals for points. He then used the points to exchange for a large number of fragments of the divine artifact. Even the lowest grade was a fragment of a middle grade level 9 divine artifact. There were even some fragments of high-grade divine artifacts. The price of a high-grade divine artifact, even if it was just a fragment, was astonishingly high. As such, Lu Ming did not have many points left. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming gave all the divine artifact fragments to Xueqi and let it eat them slowly. As for himself, he began to comprehend the complete divine dragon materialization technique. The complete divine dragon materialization technique was much more difficult to cultivate, and it also took a lot more time. However, Lu Ming had only used half a year to successfully cultivate the complete divine dragon materialization technique. Roar! A dragon's roar was heard, and a divine dragon condensed above his head. This divine dragon had 9 claws and was extremely similar to the 9 dragons. It was a 9-clawed divine dragon. Lu Ming had finally cultivated the 9-clawed divine dragon Dharma power. As long as Lu Ming willed it, the 9-clawed divine dragon Dharma power would pounce out to attack the enemy. Its power was astonishing. Of course, the divine dragon materialization art was still far from completion. As Lu Ming's understanding deepened, he could cultivate a second, third, and even more divine dragon phenomenon in the future. In the days that followed, Lu Ming cultivated in peace. They took turns to cultivate all kinds of divine skills and secret techniques. Cultivation knew no time. To immortals, a few decades was too short. It would pass in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 years had passed. In the past 20 years, Lu Ming had entered a period of stability. He did not improve much in all aspects. His main focus was to stabilize and build a solid foundation. On the other hand, Xueqi had swallowed a large number of divine weapon fragments, and its cultivation had improved a step further, reaching stage 9 true god. As for Yu, she had been cultivating in a secret room in the Divine Pulse Tower for more than 20 years. Lu Ming had also gone to take a look. The secret chamber exuded Yu's life aura. Everything was normal, so Lu Ming had nothing to worry about. At this moment, a piece of news spread like a hurricane to the Qin Heaven 13 clans and some other powerful forces. On the ancient god star, the array on the bronze door was finally broken. Some of the strongest formation masters in the Qin Heaven starfield, after decades of hard work, finally broke the formation above and opened the bronze door. Many people had already gone in to explore, but the results were shocking. Behind the bronze door was a world, an ancient world. Inside, there were many heavenly treasures, many of which had already gone extinct in the outside world. Chapter 2811 Ancient God's World. Once the news was out, all the major forces in the Qin Heaven Star Zone and countless experts gathered on the ancient God Star. Lu Ming was so focused on his closed-door cultivation that he did not know about this news. When he found out, it was already a month later. It was Ouyang Qingxiang who told him. One day, Ouyang Qingxiang found Lu Ming and told him the news. The bronze gate of the ancient God Star has opened? Lu Ming was very interested after hearing that. The bronze door had appeared in the holy land of the descendants of the ancient gods, so it must have something to do with them. Lu Ming had condensed the heart of the ancient god, so he was very interested in it. That's right. It was opened a month ago. I was also in seclusion. I just received the news that there is an ancient world inside with countless natural treasures. Many experts from all the major forces have entered. I'm looking for you because I want to join hands with you and go in together. What do you think? Ouyang Qingxiang said. All right. Lu Ming did not hesitate and nodded in agreement. After that, Lu Ming led in Hai, Lu Chong, and Zhao Feng. Ouyang Xiangxiang led a group of experts from her faction. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng were also in the group as they headed toward the ancient God Star. After a long journey, they arrived at a place not far from the bronze gate of the ancient God Star. Lu Ming was rather emotional when he came here again. So many experts. Lu Ming sensed that there was a terrifying aura looming around the bronze door. Each of these auras was extremely powerful and gave off a pressure as deep as the ocean. God King. These auras were all divine kings, no less than a dozen of them. There were dozens of divine king experts gathered near the bronze door. Didn't they say that most of the experts have already entered the world behind the bronze door? Why are there so many divine kings here? Lu Ming asked. I've heard that it's very hard for divine king experts to enter the bronze door. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Oh. God kings are not allowed to enter? Lu Ming said. It's not that they can't enter at all. It's said that there's another layer of energy above the bronze door that can stop divine kings from entering. This power is extremely mysterious. Even the strongest group of formation masters in the Qin Heaven Star region would not be able to break it. However, they managed to create a formation that can only send a dozen or so god kings into the bronze door. After some discussion, the Qin Heaven 13 clans, the Ice Soul clan, and the Scarlet Flame clan, a total of 15 forces, will send one god king in each. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Lu Ming finally understood. It turned out that the divine kings could not enter in large numbers. The 15 strongest forces of the Qin Heaven Star Zone had each sent one divine king in. As for those below the God King realm, they could enter and leave as they pleased. Lu Ming felt a little helpless. He had thought that after most of the people had entered the bronze door, he could take the opportunity to let Xueqi bite the bronze door. Now, it seemed that this idea would not work. With so many divine king peerless experts guarding it, how could he have the chance to let Xueqi bite the bronze door? If he really did that, Xueqi would probably be taken away by those experts for research immediately. It is said that the world behind the bronze door is vast and boundless. However, there are also terrifying dangers inside. There is an evil creature that lives inside. It's like a demon and a devil at the same time. It's called the demon. Now, every force has built a city inside as their base. The God Kings are guarding the city against the demons. Ouyang Qingxiang explained. As they flew, they walked towards the bronze door. No one stopped them. In fact, anyone below the God King realm would not be stopped if they wanted to enter. Even those from small factions would not be stopped. However, without a god king, it would be extremely dangerous for a faction that had built a city as a base to enter. There was a high chance that they would die at the hands of Yao Ma. The huge bronze door was open, and it was pitch black inside. "Let's go," Ouyang Qingxiang said, and the group flew toward the bronze door. In addition to them, there were many other people from other forces. They flew into the gate with them. After a moment of dizziness, Lu Ming realized that they had appeared on a huge platform. Lu Ming looked up. There was a huge vortex in the sky above his head. This vortex was the entrance and the exit. Lu Ming saw many people covered in blood. They rose into the air and disappeared into the vortex. They must have gone out from here. These people should be from some small forces. They didn't build a base here and didn't have a god king. They were injured from fighting with the demons and had no place to recuperate, so they could only leave. Ouyang Qingxiang explained. Lu Ming nodded. Those who went out now should be people from small forces. For example, the Qin Heaven 13 clans, the Ice Soul clan, and the Scarlet Flame clan all had bases. If they were injured, they could recuperate in the bases and did not need to go out at all. Boundless Sacred Land. Come to me. I'll take you to the base. People of the Winged Demon Academy, come to me. I'll take you to the base. People of Kongxian sect, come to me. I'll bring you to the base. Around the platform, voices rang out. It turned out that there were people from the major forces around the platform, while the people from the small forces could only watch in envy. That's the person from the Kongxian sect. Let's go over. Ouyang Qingxiang and the others walked in one direction. There were many powerful cultivators from the Kongxian sect there. Holy Maiden Qingxiang, Holy Son Lu Ming, come with me. One of the elders was an inner sect elder of the Kongxian sect. He recognized Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang at a glance. The group followed the inner sect elder and flew away. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, the vortex shook violently and let out a deafening roar. What's going on? Why is the space gate suddenly shaking? Many people's expressions changed drastically. But then, the vortex shook even more violently. Boom, boom. Then, there was a terrifying explosion. The vortex began to collapse. That's right, it started to collapse. A terrifying power spread out and wreaked havoc in all directions. Not good, quickly leave. Quickly retreat. Many people shouted and flew around the platform. Lu Ming and the rest also left far away. When everyone had flown far enough, they turned back and were completely dumbfounded. The vortex was gone. That's right, that vortex had already disappeared without a trace. The spatial path is gone, we're doomed. Are we going to be trapped here forever? What's going on? Does anyone know what's going on? The scene was in an uproar, and many people were shouting in fear. Without the spatial path, they would be trapped here for the rest of their lives. I'm afraid it'll take even longer to open it. How much time do you need? Someone asked. A few decades at least, a few hundred years at most. A formation master said. Several hundred years? That's fine. Then I'll have to trouble the masters to break it. The various god kings nodded their heads. It would take a few hundred years to open it, so the situation wasn't too bad. At that moment, Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the rest followed the inner sect elder of the Kongxian sect and flew for a distance before a huge city appeared in front of them. This city was built between two great ravines, leaning against a natural barrier, looking extremely majestic. This was the new base that the Kongxian sect had built recently. Those from the Kongxian sect who had entered this world were all gathered in this base. The group flew in and saw stone houses in the city. You guys can go and find an open space and build your own stone houses. Also, you can enter and leave the city freely. There is no one to restrict you. However, the demons outside are very strange and powerful. You have to be careful when you go out and risk your lives, the inner court elder warned, and after that, the inner court elder flew away. Lu Ming, Ouyang Qingxiang, and the rest swept their gazes across the area before flying toward an empty space. This city was extremely large, and there were large areas of empty land. Lu Ming! Suddenly, an explosive roar filled with cold killing intent was heard. At the side, a group of figures flew out from a stone house and blocked Lu Ming and the rest's way. Tianhong. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. The person in the lead was the Tianhong Saint's son. The Tianhong Saint's son looked at Lu Ming with a ferocious gaze and sneered. You've also come to the world of ancient gods. Good, very good. Let's see who can protect you here. Tianhong, don't think too highly of yourself. If you want to fight, we're not afraid of you. Ouyang Qingxiang sneered. Oh, what if I'm included? A cold voice came from behind. Then, another group of people flew over. Floating light. Ouyang Xiangxiang's expression changed. The group of people behind him was the sacred son of reflection and his subordinates. They had surrounded Lu Ming and the rest. Floating light. When did you join forces with Tianhong? Ouyang Qingxiang said coldly. I can't say that we're working together. However, Lu Ming has killed many of my men. I'm just going to settle this score with him. The sacred son sneered, and cold killing intent spread out. The Tianhong Saint's son and the transient light Saint's son surrounded Lu Ming and the others. Their cold killing intent made many people's expressions change. However, Ouyang Qingxiang remained calm because she knew of a rule. You dare to make a move here? According to what I know, the God King has given the order that fighting is prohibited in this city to prevent demons from taking advantage of the situation. Do you dare to disobey the God King's order? Ouyang Qingxiang sneered. The Tianhong Saint's son and the transient light Saint's son's faces darkened. The God King who was guarding the city had indeed given this order. And they did not dare to disobey. Humph, so what if it's like this? Once you leave this city, no one will care about you, unless you stay in this city forever and never go out. The Tianhong Saint's son sneered. That's right. I'll send people to keep an eye on you. Since you've come here, you'll be holed up in this city forever. The Gu Guang Holy Son sneered. Ouyang Xiangxiang's expression turned ugly. Coming to this world, of course, he had to go out and adventure to obtain the natural treasures outside. Otherwise, what was he doing here? Instead of staying in this city, he might as well stay in the Kongxian sect and cultivate. The Tianhong Saint's son and the transient light Saint's son smiled delightedly when they saw Ouyang Qingxiang's ugly expression. Holy Maiden Qingxiang, let's go. I can't be bothered with these mad dogs. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke indifferently and stepped forward. What did you just say? The Tianhong Saint's son and the transient light Saint's son's faces turned red. Good dogs don't block the way. Lu Ming glanced at the Tianhong Saint's son in disdain. You. The Tianhong Saint's son was so furious that he almost vomited blood. He wanted to slap Lu Ming to death. Lu Ming's trump card, however, the Tianhong Saint's son held back in the end and did not dare to attack. The orders of a God King could not be disobeyed, even if he was the saint. Lu Ming, you'd better not leave this city. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die an ugly death. The Tianhong Saint's son left with his men after saying that. The sacred son of reflection snorted and left with his men. Of course, they had left some people behind to monitor Lu Ming and the rest from a distance. If Lu Ming and the rest left the city, they would launch a lightning-fast attack. As for Lu Ming and the rest, they went to the empty space to build stone houses. With their cultivation, it was too easy to build stone houses. In minutes, huge stone houses were rising from the ground. For the next few days, they stayed here and did not leave the city. That was because the Tianhong Saint's son and the sacred son of reflection had sent people to keep an eye on him. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed, and the situation was still the same. Holy Maiden Qingxiang, you guys go out of the city first. I'll stay in the city alone. Lu Ming said. Shall we leave the city first? Ouyang Xiangxiang's expression changed. That's right. Tianhong, the person floating light wants is me. Without me around, they won't do anything to you guys. You guys can leave the city first. It'll be easier for me to act alone. I'll also think of a way to leave the city. Lu Ming said. During this time, they found that many people who came back from the city had a big harvest. The natural treasures here were really amazing. This world was like the ancient world when the primeval universe first came into being. All kinds of natural treasures were extremely abundant, and no one had ever mined them. It was really not worth it to stay in the city and not go out. Then you have to be careful. Ouyang Xiangxiang pondered for a moment before nodding. This was the only plan he could do now. Ouyang Xiangxiang then led her faction, and Hai, Lu Chong, and Zhao Feng out of the city, disappearing into the vast world. Holy Sun, Ouyang Qingxiang and the rest have left the city, but Lu Ming hasn't. He's still in the city. Someone reported to the Tianhong Saint's son as soon as Ouyang Qingxiang left. The Tianhong Saint's son hadn't left the city during this time. He had been guarding it. Lu Ming didn't leave? The Tianhong Saint's son's eyes glinted coldly. Saint, what should we do now? Someone asked. It's easy to deal with Lu Ming alone. Leave a few experts behind to keep an eye on him. Once he leaves the city, kill him without mercy. The Tianhong Saint's son said coldly. After that, he left a few experts behind to keep an eye on Lu Ming while he led his men and left the city. They were cooped up in the city every day, unable to obtain anything and unable to afford to waste time. Therefore, since Lu Ming was alone, he did not have to guard the place personally. He could not afford to waste his time if Lu Ming stayed in the city and did not move. On the other side, after the Sacred Son of Reflection received the news, he had the same plan as the Tianhong Sacred Son. He left a few experts behind to keep an eye on Lu Ming while he left the city with his men. After Ouyang Qingxiang and the rest left, Lu Ming leisurely cultivated in the city. Just a little more. Lu Ming muttered. His 9 heavenly Kuanpeng technique was about to break through to the 5th level. As long as he broke through to the 5th level, in addition to the follow-up move he had prepared, he was confident that he could shake off those people who were watching him and leave this city. Tianhong, floating light, Lu Ming, will make you regret this sooner or later. A cold glint flashed across Lu Ming's eyes. He then returned to the stone house to continue cultivating. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. It's done. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. After a few months of cultivation, Lu Ming's 9 heavenly Kuanpeng technique had finally reached the 5th level. His speed had increased greatly. It's time to leave. Lu Ming left the stone house and flew toward the city gate. Lu Ming is leaving. Follow him. When he leaves the city, well, kill him. The moment Lu Ming moved, the people left behind by the Tianhong Saint's son and the Transient Light Saint's son immediately caught wind of the news. Each of them had cold killing intent in their eyes as they followed Lu Ming from a distance. Lu Ming did not hesitate when he arrived at the city's gate. He dashed out immediately and cast the 9 heavenly Kuanpeng technique, charging into the vast forest ahead. What? Dense divine qi, what an ancient aura. As soon as he entered the forest, he was immediately hit by a primitive and ancient aura. Moreover, the trees in the forest were particularly tall. Giant trees that were dozens of meters in diameter, hundreds of meters in diameter, and thousands of meters in height could be seen everywhere, giving one a feeling of returning to the prehistoric times. Chase! The experts left behind by the Tianhong Saint's son and the Sacred Son of Reflection were all middle-aged men or white-haired elders. They were all powerful sky celestial realm experts. As soon as they rushed out of the city gate, they quickly chased after Lu Ming. A few old fellows. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes as he increased his speed. Like a ROC, he flew across the sky at an astonishing speed. However, the ones chasing after him were all celestial gods. There were even second-level celestial gods. Their cultivation levels were much higher than Lu Ming's and their speed was too fast. The distance between them and Lu Ming was constantly closing. Lu Ming, you can't escape. Die! An old man coldly shouted. Is that so? Lu Ming sneered. However, he had no intention of stopping the battle. The people left behind by the Tianhong Saint's son and the Transient Light Saint's son were all shockingly powerful. None of them were weaker than Lu Feiyun, and some of them were even more powerful than him. Even if Xueqi broke through to 9th stage True God now, if they stopped to fight, it would only be a road to death. Lu Ming's palm glowed and a black jade talisman appeared in his hand. He squeezed hard and the jade talisman exploded. A surge of energy wrapped around Lu Ming. A strange scene appeared. Lu Ming's body split into 2, then into 4, then into 8. In the end, it split into a total of 32 figures. The 32 Lu Ming silhouettes had the exact same aura. They flew in different directions at high speed. This was Lu Ming's next move. The jade talisman was a kind of jade talisman that Lu Ming had refined after consulting the bone demon. It was very effective in escaping at critical moments. However, the materials to refine such a jade talisman were too difficult to find. Lu Ming had searched the entire Kongxian sect and could only find the materials to refine one piece. 32 figures with the exact same aura appeared all of a sudden. Those who were chasing Lu Ming were instantly dumbfounded. This, what's going on? Damn it, split up and chase. Someone roared. They had no choice but to split up and pursue. However, in the end, they discovered that what they were chasing were all fake. After a period of time, they had all turned into energy and dissipated. Lu Ming's real body had long disappeared. Damn it! The people left behind by the Tianhong Saint Sun and the Sacred Sun of Reflection gathered together again. They looked terrible. Continue searching. I don't believe that he can escape to the sky. An elder bellowed and planned to continue the search. They had so many experts, but they let Lu Ming escape right under their noses. It would be difficult to explain to the two saint children when they asked. Chapter 2814 Demon Lu Ming shook off his pursuers and went deep into the forest. This world is truly wonderful. After shaking off those people, Lu Ming slowed down and sized up his surroundings. This world was full of vitality, ancient trees reached the sky, and all kinds of plants were lush and full of powerful spirituality. Any one of these plants would be an emperor's medicine in the heaven realm and the primordial realm. However, they were not of much use to Lu Ming. Lu Ming spread out his spiritual sense. He was looking for those precious natural treasures. That is, dragon ginseng. Lu Ming's eyes lit up after traveling for a while. He saw a dragon ginseng, but the pillar dragon ginseng was too big, which surprised him. As the name suggested, the average dragon ginseng was as long and thin as a dragon's beard. It was a rare divine medicine that could be used to refine divine pills that could increase the cultivation of heavenly gods. It was very precious. However, the dragon ginseng in front of him was as thick as Lu Ming's arm. It was dozens of times thicker than the average dragon ginseng. Such a huge dragon ginseng, haha. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Brat, this kind of divine medicine contains a strong qi of desolation. It's not easy to refine it. In his sea of consciousness, the voice of the quantity formula sounded. Desolation qi? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right. This world is very ancient and undeveloped. That's why there's primal qi in it. These divine herbs all contain primal qi. It's difficult for ordinary people to refine them. Only by refining the primal qi inside can they absorb the energy inside the divine herbs. The quantity formula explained. Lu Ming nodded. It seemed that although the effects of the divine medicine here were very strong, it was still more difficult to refine it directly. The best choice was to bring it out and let the alchemist refine it into divine pills. But little brat, you have me, so you don't have to worry about this. Give me this dragon ginseng, I can help you refine it into pure energy for you to absorb. The quantity formula said proudly. Hey, you said you'd refine the ancient god flower's energy and give it to me last time. It's been decades and you still haven't refined it? Lu Ming asked. What do you know? How could the energy of so many ancient god flowers be so easily refined? But don't worry, it'll be done soon. In a few months at most, I'll be able to refine it completely. At that time, your cultivation will be able to improve even further. The quantity formula shouted. It's true. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Nonsense, of course it's true. I wouldn't lie. The quantity formula called out. Ha ha ha, good. I'll give you this dragon ginseng. Lu Ming smiled. Then, a measure character emerged between Lu Ming's brows. A devouring force enveloped the dragon-bearded ginseng. The ginseng turned into a ray of light and flew into the measure character. Then, the measure character hid itself in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. Lu Ming continued to move forward. Following that, Lu Ming came across a few more kinds of heavenly and earthly treasures. They were all divine medicines that were rare in the outside world and had amazing medicinal effects. He would definitely be able to sell them for a good price if he brought them out. No wonder so many people had entered this world. MMH. Lu Ming, who was moving forward, suddenly stopped. He frowned and a long spear appeared in his hand. Because at this moment, he felt a sudden sense of danger. Whoosh! A terrifying whistling sound came from his right. An extremely sharp force tore at Lu Ming. Buzz! Without thinking, Lu Ming fired a shot to the right. Clang! Lu Ming's long spear seemed to have hit a piece of metal. Then, Lu Ming saw a black shadow being sent flying. Bang! The black shadow crashed heavily into an ancient tree dozens of meters in diameter, causing the tree to explode. Demon! Lu Ming's eyes flickered when he saw the appearance of the black shadow. It was a wolf that had attacked him. This wolf was more than 3 meters tall. Its entire body was pitch black, and it was no different from any other demonic beast or desolate beast. However, there was no demonic chi on this wolf's body. Instead, it exuded a strong demonic chi. Its eyes were blood red and full of killing intent. The demonic wolf's body contains a powerful demonic chi. No wonder it's called a demonic devil. Lu Ming was amazed. It was like a demon but not a demon, like a devil but not a devil, it was a devil. Roar! The wolf-shaped fiend howled. Its baleful aura grew stronger as it glared at Lu Ming. Roar! Roar! Following that, howls and roars rang out continuously. In the forest, black shadows flickered. At least a few dozen wolf-shaped demons appeared from the branches of the surrounding ancient trees. They glared at Lu Ming with murderous intent. Why am I so unlucky? Lu Ming was speechless. It seemed that he had encountered a wolf's den. Roar! Roar! Howls were heard as dozens of wolf-shaped fiendish demons turned into streaks of black light and charged at Lu Ming. Chi chi! The wolf-shaped demonic demon swiped with its sharp claws, letting out a terrifying howl. Its sharp claws were like knives as it clawed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's long spear shook and rays of spear light burst out. Instantly, the sound of metal clashing rang out. Dozens of wolf-shaped demons were sent flying by him. This demon has such a strong attack. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Although he did not care about the strength of these demons, their attack power still surprised him. The demonic chi around these demons had a strong destructive power. Compared to the same level of demons and warriors from the outside world, demons were definitely stronger. After dozens of demons were sent flying, they did not retreat. Instead, they roared and charged at Lu Ming. "I'll send you on your way." Lu Ming was filled with killing intent and increased his strength. Whoosh! Whoosh! Instantly, dozens of sharp spear lights shot out and pierced through the demons' necks, killing them. Lu Ming left the place immediately after killing the demons. After a few days, Lu Ming walked out of the forest and came to an even more vast mountain range. In this mountain range, they would occasionally encounter demons. These demons looked no different from the demonic beasts and desolate beasts they had encountered before. However, their bodies were filled with terrifying demonic chi. Each of them had terrifying combat strength. But correspondingly, the number of natural treasures in this mountain range had also increased. Other than the godly medicine, there were also many refining materials and even some precious metals. Most of those precious metals had entered Xueqi's stomach and were eaten by it. As for those divine herbs, most of them had been swallowed by the quantity formula. Lu Ming was somewhat speechless. Most of the divine herbs and metals that he had obtained had entered the quantity formula and Xueqi's stomach. There were very few that had entered his pocket. Lu Ming could only hope that these two guys would surprise him. Just like that, Lu Ming trained and killed in the desolate mountains for a few months. The deeper he went, the stronger the demons he encountered. They would often encounter 8th and 9th stage true God realm demons and even celestial God realm demons. Whenever he encountered a heavenly God level demon, Lu Ming would always take a detour. Even with Xueqi's help, he did not have much confidence in dealing with a heavenly God level demon. A bunch of toads on this day, Lu Ming came to the vicinity of a huge mountain peak. After arriving, Xueqi became excited. Its big mouth was gnawing and its eyes were shining as it stared at a cave at the foot of the mountain. Xueqi, could there be a treasure in this cave? Lu Ming's heart stirred as he asked. That's right. I can feel that there's a type of metal in this cave. It's a very precious metal. If I eat it, it'll definitely help me evolve and break through to the heavenly God realm. Xueqi responded with its spiritual will. He can break through to the heavenly God realm? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. With Xueqi's strength, if it could break through to the celestial deity realm, Its combat strength would definitely be extremely terrifying and would be a great help to him. If he ran into the Tianhong Saint's son and the Sacred Son of Reflection's subordinates, he wouldn't have to be afraid anymore. Kid, I can feel that there are many powerful demons living in this cave. The Bone Devil's voice sounded. Senior Bone Demon, can you sense the strength of the demon in this cave? Lu Ming asked. The strongest one is only at the first-level heavenly deity realm. There's only one. The rest are all below the heavenly deity realm. Bone said. There's only one first-level heavenly god realm demon. It'll go all out. Lu Ming revealed a determined look. Xueqi, get ready for battle. Lu Ming continued to play the ball. Then, he started to activate the battle formula. After more than 20 years of cultivation, Lu Ming's understanding of the battle character formula had deepened. The success rate of triggering the fourfold combat strength had also increased significantly. He would succeed once out of more than 10 times. After more than 10 times of triggering, Lu Ming successfully triggered the quadruple combat strength and raised his status to the maximum. He then carefully approached the cave. Whoosh! When Lu Ming was near the cave, a red light suddenly shot out from the cave and pierced between Lu Ming's eyebrows. Before it reached him, a foul smell had already hit his face. A tongue. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He could see clearly that the red light was actually an animal's tongue. Buzz! Lu Ming shook the long spear and it struck the tongue hard. However, when the long spear hit the tongue, there was no force at all. The tongue was soft and easily deflected the force of the long spear. It turned and stabbed toward Lu Ming again. Humph, small tricks. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He put away the spear and covered his palm with divine power. He grabbed the scarlet tongue and then burst out with the ultimate cold divine power, pouring it into the tongue. Instantly, the tongue was frozen into a popsicle. Lu Ming swung his arm and the popsicle broke into dozens of pieces. Whoosh! Immediately, a loud cry came from the cave, shaking the ground. Then, a huge creature the size of a small mountain rushed out of the cave. It really is a toad, Lu Ming muttered. The huge creature that charged out was a huge toad. Its entire body was pitch black and it was also filled with thick demonic qi. It glared at Lu Ming with a venomous look. This toad had a cultivation of about 9th stage true god. Whoosh! Following that, there were cries continuously coming out from the cave, and black shadows jumped out one after another. They were all toads, and in a few moments, more than a dozen of them jumped out. They were all at the 8th or 9th stage of true god. Kill! Lu Ming charged forward. This time, he did not take out a long spear. Instead, he took out a combat sword. Moon slaying. Lu Ming used the moon slash at a toad. Whoosh! The toad cried out and opened its mouth. Rays of pitch-black light burst out like blades, slashing at Lu Ming. Clang! Clang! The combat sword kept clashing with the light, causing a violent explosion. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's gaze was a little solemn. This stage 9 real god toad was astonishingly powerful. Its fighting power was not any weaker than Long Xian, who was ranked 6th on the real god ranking list. However, Lu Ming's current abilities had also improved since his battle with Long Xian. Moon slaying. Lu Ming pushed the 3 apocalyptic strikes to the extreme. The crescent-shaped sword radiance kept slashing out. At the same time, Lu Ming cast the ice chains. 9 ice chains flew out and wrapped around the toad. Lu Ming slashed the toad in half with his sword. On the other side, Xueqi was showing off its might. When it was at the 8th stage true god realm, its abilities were already very shocking and could crush Lu Ming. Now that it had broken through to the 9th stage true god realm, its abilities were even stronger. Its 2 arms turned into 2 sabers and kept slashing. Every time he slashed out, a toad would be killed. Lu Ming had only killed 1 but Xueqi had already killed 6. By the time Lu Ming killed the second toad, Xueqi had already killed all the other toads. Amazing! Lu Ming smiled and looked at Xueqi. He could not help but look forward to how strong Xueqi's combat power would be after it broke through to the heavenly god level. With a flash, Lu Ming and Xueqi rushed into the cave. The cave was huge, and there were many different passages. This way, Xueqi took the lead and flew toward a passage, followed by Lu Ming. Along the way, toads would jump out from time to time, but they were all killed by Xueqi's blade. Very soon, Lu Ming and the group had traveled a few hundred miles and bypassed many winding passages. Finally, they came to a huge underground cave. This underground cave was fiery red because the walls were embedded with pieces of fiery red gemstones that emitted red light. At the very top of the cave, there was a piece of crimson metal the size of a human head. It was embedded in the wall and emitted powerful energy fluctuations. "It's that piece of metal, it's that piece of metal." Xueqi's voice rang in Lu Ming's mind. It then opened its mouth wide and pounced on the piece of metal. Whoosh! Right at this moment, a few loud shouts rang out, causing the underground cave to shake continuously. A black shadow pounced towards Xueqi at an extremely fast speed. "Xueqi, be careful," Lu Ming reminded loudly. At the same time, he dashed toward the black shadow. Whoosh! A scarlet tongue lashed out at Xueqi like a soft whip. Xueqi was caught off guard and was directly whipped. Bang! Xueqi was sent flying like a cannonball. It crashed into the wall and created a huge pit. Moon slaying. Lu Ming had already arrived. He cast moon slashing and slashed at the scarlet tongue. However, the tongue flicked and a terrifying force exploded. Lu Ming's body trembled and he could not help but fly backward. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's gaze was solemn. In front of them, a huge toad appeared. This toad was 2 to 3 times bigger than the ones they had encountered before. Its body was filled with dense demonic qi, and its aura was shocking. Heavenly God Realm. This toad was a heavenly god. It should be the first-level heavenly god that Bone Demon sensed. The power of the Divine Dragon materialization art was indeed shocking, especially the 9-clawed Divine Dragon phenomenon that Lu Ming had condensed. It was even more powerful and had become his strongest killing move. "Xueqi, use lightning." Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Xueqi. He had used all his means to kill the toad. Zzz. On Xueqi's body, lightning pervaded and then converged into a thick bolt of lightning that shot towards the toad. It pierced through the light that was emitted by the other party in an instant and bombarded the toad. The toad was struck by the lightning, and its body immediately stiffened. The fragrance of roasted meat also spread out. After Xueqi's cultivation broke through to the 9th stage True God realm, the power of that lightning was even stronger. How could Lu Ming miss such an opportunity? He immediately controlled the 9 ice chains and wrapped them around the toad. A terrifying chill surged into the toad's body, trying to freeze it. Roar! The 9-clawed Divine Dragon roared as it took a few steps forward with its claws aimed at the toad. At the same time, Lu Ming swung his sword at the toad. Whoosh! At the critical moment, the toad mustered all its remaining strength. A black demonic qi shot out in all directions like a shock wave. In an instant, the ice chains bounced off and it hit Lu Ming and the 9-clawed Divine Dragon. The 9-clawed Divine Dragon phenomenon shook violently, and its body emitted a blinding light. Then, it began to explode inch by inch. Lu Ming was sent flying, and his 9-layer crimson gold armor was covered in cracks. However, this was the toad's desperate move. After using it, his aura became much weaker, and the demonic qi protecting his body became much thinner. Xueqi seized the opportunity and another bolt of lightning struck down. This time, the toad was sent flying by the lightning. Its round body rolled on the ground, and its body was charred black. Xueqi seized the opportunity and charged forward. With a slash of its blade, half of the toad's body was chopped off with a puffed sound, and blood flowed all over the ground. Even so, the toad was still alive and was struggling to escape. "Don't even think about escaping. Go!" Lu Ming shouted. The 9 ice chains formed again and were thousands of meters long, binding the toad. The toad was already heavily injured. This time, it could no longer jump out of the ice chains. Its body was covered in a layer of ice. Xueqi charged forward and slashed down twice, killing the toad completely. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief. He had finally killed the toad. The heavenly god toad was even stronger than Lu Feiyun. It was indeed hard to kill. Lu Ming and Xueqi cooperated with each other and used all their means. They had a good grasp of the timing to kill the toad. If the timing was not right, they would not be able to kill the toad even if they joined forces. "My cultivation is still too low," Lu Ming sighed. His various divine skills and secret skills were very powerful, but his cultivation was low, so he could not exert too much power. In fact, the main reason was that Lu Ming's opponents were too powerful. If he was facing someone of the same level or a few levels higher than him, Lu Ming could easily kill them in seconds. Lu Ming, who was only at the third stage of True God realm, was too far away from a heavenly god powerhouse. If it were any other third stage True God against a heavenly god, he would most likely be slapped to death. After the toad was killed, the cave became quiet. This cave seemed to be the cave of the Toad King, and the other toads didn't dare to enter. Xueqi's eyes were burning as it stared at the piece of metal. It immediately rushed up and opened its mouth to take a big bite. Giggle giggle. Sparks flew in all directions. That piece of metal was bitten off piece by Xueqi, and it swallowed it. Not long after, the entire piece of metal had been completely eaten by Xueqi. I'm going to evolve. Xueqi turned into a metal ball and fell to the ground, unmoving. Lu Ming sat cross-legged not far away from Xueqi and channeled his energy to heal his injuries. In the battle just now, he had been seriously injured. After his injuries had healed, Lu Ming began to cultivate in the cave. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed, and Xueqi was still in the process of evolving. It was obvious that the piece of metal was not that easy to refine. Lu Ming, I've finally refined the ancient god flower's energy. Do you need it now? If you do, I'll transfer it to you immediately. The voice of the quantity formula sounded. All right, pass it to me. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. After decades of polishing and cultivating, Lu Ming's foundation had long been extremely stable. Now was the perfect time to break through. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.